Beautiful Monday afternoon here in Wisconsin. We kick off another busy broadcast week on the Dan O'Donnell Show. No sizzling summer cash contest as that ended on Friday. Have no fear. We have got something else for you to win. Irish Fest tickets coming up later on in the program. Be the correct caller and win a 4-pack of tickets to go see Irish Fest in downtown Milwaukee. If you want to join the program today, 414-799-1130 is our adventknows.com talk and text line. You can reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. You can email me directly, dod@iheartmedia.com. Follow the show, stream the show, watch the show on social media at Dan O'Donnell Show on Facebook, on X, on Instagram. Heck, we are even streaming on LinkedIn and, of course, our YouTube channel. Just search for Dan O'Donnell or Dan O'Donnell Show. And please do subscribe to the Dan O'Donnell Show podcast. Listen to the show with limited commercial interruption on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts. On Friday, a big exclusive story that this radio show's reporting actually influenced when Wisconsin's governor, Tony Evers, would announce his retirement. Back on Wednesday, July 16th, I reported exclusively that multiple sources were telling me that Evers was going to make an announcement that he would not seek a third term in office within 24 to 36 hours. And as I said on that afternoon's show, it was not likely that Evers was going to announce his retirement on a Friday, especially a Friday in summer when far fewer people would be paying attention. So that I said it is almost certain Evers is going to make his announcement tomorrow, Thursday, July 17th. Well, Evers' spokesperson, Britt Cuddeback, immediately quote tweeted my tweet asserting that this was going to happen and said, "Looks like this conservative sources don't know what they're talking about. There will be no announcement in 24 to 36 hours. On Friday night at about 8:30, July 18th, she posted again, "Well, I was going to give Dan a couple of extra hours just to make sure 36 hours had passed. Turns out he has really crappy sources." And she used the synonym for crappy that you can't say on a family-friendly radio show, meaning my reporting was totally false. Last Thursday, exactly 1 week after I said the announcement was going to be made, July 24th, Evers did, bright and early in the morning, release an announcement saying that he was going to not seek a third term. I was proven wrong. Or so people thought. My sources were telling me that Evers absolutely did delay his announcement because of my reporting, because people within his administration, especially Cuddeback, did not want me to be right. They didn't want me to scoop their announcement, so they just delayed it by a week. There was no way to prove that, obviously, until there was. Number of Twitter users pointed out that when Sarah Rodriguez on Friday, the lieutenant governor, announced that she was going to run for governor, she did so with a video posted to YouTube. A video that was uploaded to YouTube on July 17th, meaning she very clearly got a heads up that the announcement was going to come on July 17th. The video was put up almost certainly for release either later that day or far more likely the following day, July 18th, so that she wouldn't overshadow Evers' retirement announcement. But she knew that the announcement was coming and that it was almost certainly going to be on July 17th. Now, today, in fact, just a couple of hours ago, Evers was at an event where he was asked about Sarah Rodriguez possibly getting that heads up.
The lieutenant governor had videos ready to go the day after your announcement. How early did you give her the heads up and what were those conversations like?
It was just at the same time I let my cabinet members know. The day of. So the idea that there was, from what you said, something already done the day before, whatever, you have to ask her why that happened.
Well, someone actually did ask her why that happened the day before on Upfront with WISN TV's Matt Smith, and Rodriguez gave the complete opposite answer, saying, yes, of course, Governor Evers gave me an early heads up.
Did the governor give you a heads up about his decision, and what was that conversation like with him?
He did. He did give me a heads up that he was going to retire. And the conversation with him was, I'm just so grateful for his leadership. He has done amazing things for Wisconsin. He has set us up for success. And I can't wait just to knock it out of the park with what he's done.
Okay, this is too funny. We had to put together a little montage of Evers saying, no, there was no heads up given. And Sarah Rodriguez saying, yeah, of course he gave me a heads up.
The Lieutenant Governor had videos ready to go the day after your announcement. How early did you give her the heads up, and what were those conversations like?
It was just at the same time I let my cabinet members know the day of.
Did the governor give you a heads up about his decision, and what was that conversation like with him?
He did. He did give me a heads up that he was going to retire.
Yes, of course he did. On July 17th, the day he gave everybody the heads up that he was going to retire, just not the public, because the Evers administration didn't want little old me to be right. Now, why is this such a big deal? Because this has very obviously deepened the rift between Governor Evers and Lieutenant Governor Rodriguez. The two of them and the two of their staffs did not particularly care for one another before this, but now it has opened a rift as wide as the Grand Canyon. Evers people are furious that Rodriguez got caught, and I was able to spend an entire 3-hour show on Friday gloating at how incompetent all of these people were and how terrible it looked for them that they actually moved one of the biggest announcements, if not the biggest announcement in Tony Evers' career, because I said it was going to come on a specific date. Evers today was asked about the possibility of making an endorsement in this governor's race. Now, you would think that the person he picked to be his lieutenant governor, remember, his last lieutenant governor, man deadbeat Barnes, actually gave up his position to run for the United States Senate, and he was replaced by Rodriguez. Evers never had any love lost for Rodriguez, or more accurately stated, Evers' people, led by Wisconsin's real governor, Maggie Gao, her girlfriend, the spokesperson, Britt Cuddeback, and the rest of them, they never particularly liked Sarah Rodriguez. Neither did Evers, because one would think that he would endorse his own lieutenant governor, right? Wrong. Evers said today that there was probably no chance he was going to endorse in this race, critically, unless someone came along who really, in his words, needed his endorsement. Meaning he'll endorse, just not anybody who's currently in the race. And there's a grand total of one candidate who has officially entered the race, Sarah Rodriguez. Earlier this afternoon, the Associated Press reported that Secretary of State Sarah Godlewski, who was rewarded with that position for dropping out of the race so man deadbeat could become the nominee easily in 2022, she's not going to run for governor. Instead, she's going to run for lieutenant governor. We'll have more on that coming up here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. But on Upfront yesterday, the statewide news program hosted by Jaron Jordan and Matt Smith, Smith asked her, hey, do you think Evers is going to endorse you? Her answer, in retrospect, given what Evers said today, is hilariously heartbreaking. Yeah, I think I welcome his endorsement. I'd love to get it.
Did you ask for his endorsement? Do you anticipate receiving his endorsement in the primary?
That's really going to be up to him. I would certainly welcome it if he chooses to endorse. But I do believe I'm the best candidate for the job, and so just really excited to be able to run the race and introduce myself to people and let people know, what I'm going to be doing as governor.
She knows she's not getting his endorsement, but she had to put the best face possible on this, saying, "Well, I'd welcome it. Who knows if he's going to endorse." Here's Evers today asked flat out, "Are you going to endorse?"
Lieutenant Governor over the weekend told us she would welcome your endorsement. I'm curious, are you going to endorse in the Democratic primary now?
Probably not. I tend to try to avoid that. So, no, I'll never say never, but I want to make sure who the rest of the candidates are before I even make that decision. That's the important thing. I tend to not get involved with primaries in general, and so that's probably where I hope to be again. But by that in turn, if there's somebody that really needs support and I want them to win, I might get in.
If there's somebody who needs my support and I want them to win, then I'll endorse. Somebody got in. Somebody needs Evers' support to clear the field because the county executive of Milwaukee County, David Crowley, is currently leaning towards getting in. It's entirely possible that you see other figures like state senators Kelda Helen Royce, possibly Chris Larson. Any number of left-wing figures could potentially get in this race. Rodriguez would be able to clear it a la Kamala Harris if she got the old guy's endorsement. Evers isn't going to give it to her. Big reason for that is because the two of them don't particularly care for one another. And in fact, the major reason for that widening divide is the fact that her team was so stupid as to not realize that when you put up a video on YouTube, but you make it unlisted, so that no one other than you can see it unless they have the URL. You can send them the direct address. The video is live on YouTube. It's just not searchable. No one who doesn't have the direct link can possibly see it. They put it up knowing full well that Evers was going to retire, that day. It was up on the 17th because she was going to make her announcement on July 18th. As I reported last week, they just moved everything back a week because they didn't want to give me the satisfaction of being right. Now, Matt Smith has released a statement. He's reported on a statement released by the Sarah Rodriguez camp about Governor Evers saying, yeah, no, I did not give Sarah a heads up. And Sarah saying, yes, he absolutely gave me a heads up. Here is what the Evers camp is saying. Let's see if you believe these people. Sarah was ready to hit the ground running if Governor Evers decided not to seek re-election. The video was uploaded in advance because she and her team were prepared. Sarah was informed of the governor's decision the day of his announcement. Really? It's not what she said.
Did the governor give you a heads up about his decision, and what was that conversation like with him?
He did. He did give me a heads up that he was going to retire. And
I mean, it's remarkable how easily these people lie about the dumbest stuff. Just say, yes, we got caught. We delayed the announcement by a week because this rabid right-wing talk show host who none of us liked was reporting it, and we didn't want him to be right. But the problem is the default setting for the Evers administration, and apparently the default setting for the Sarah Rodriguez campaign, is to be dishonest. It is completely disproven by the candidate's own words. Yet the campaign is still going with something that they know to be untrue. And this is sort of the hallmark of Democrat talking points. It doesn't matter what somebody said or what the evidence obviously shows. They know that the overwhelming majority of people aren't paying attention, and that the ones who are on their side are sheep who will simply regurgitate the talking points without ever once considering, hey, just 24 hours ago, I saw something that directly contradicts this. The state of the race. Godlewski is apparently out. Rodriguez is in. What about the Republican side? We'll discuss next.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is back in Vegas.
T-Mobile Arena.
Streaming live only on Hulu. A weekend full of superstar performances. Listen starting next Monday to win your way there.
The 2025 iHeartRadio Music Festival is brought to you by Metro. With their new lower prices, the celebration starts way before the festival. Big savings so you can focus on your favorite artist, not your phone bill. Only at Metro by T-Mobile.
Most people have no idea there's an invisible gap in their home's protection. This invisible threat is house stealing. Con artists pick a house. They transfer the deed of this house into their name by obtaining the forms, using the fake IDs, and filing the paperwork with proper authorities. Now they own the home. Protect your home from this invisible gap. Check on your home's title right now at HomeTitleLock.com. Be sure to use promo code RADIO, and they will send you a complete title scan of your home's title. And your first 30 days of triple lock title protection is free. HomeTitleLock.com.
Surprise! Your accountant just emailed to say your quarterly taxes are way higher than you were expecting.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Also, your favorite employee is leaving. They're going to pursue their dream of being a veterinarian.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
I'm Eric Krolowitz from Good Health Saunas. Check out Good Health Saunas' massive display at the Wisconsin State Fair, July 31st through August 10th. See every model be set up, feel them, touch them, try them out, and compare to find the ideal sauna for you and the entire family. Attendees will receive huge discounts on our show display floor models. Come early, they always sell out. GoodHealthSaunas.com or 365 days a year at 2242 West Blue Mound Road in Waukesha next to Home Depot. That's GoodHealthSaunas.com.
When Flawless Flooring installs luxury vinyl plank, hardwood, modern laminate, or carpeting, I personally guarantee your satisfaction with every step from shopping through installation. I'm Flawless Flooring's president, Dave Brownsdorf, and I approve this message. Sensory Underload Flawless Flooring. FlawlessFlooringLLC.com.
There are only a handful of carpet cleaning companies in the country who guarantee results, and we're one of them. It's no wonder why we're Wisconsin's most trusted carpet cleaner.
Edelman Carpet, Furniture, and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman.
A 4-day winter power outage is what had me buying an awesome Generac generator, and I've been worry-free ever since. Get a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from the #1 Generac dealer, Generator Supercenter. Go to GeneratorSupercenterofLakeCountry.com.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your #1 preset on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
The Lieutenant Governor had videos ready to go the day after your announcement. How early did you give her the heads up, and what were those conversations like?
It was just at the same time I let my cabinet members know the day of.
Did the governor give you a heads up about his decision, and what was that conversation like with him?
He did. He did give me a heads up that he was going to retire.
Those were 2 days apart. A little more than 24 hours. No, I didn't give her a heads up, says Evers. Rodriguez, oh yeah, he definitely gave me a heads up. Not the best start to the Sarah Rodriguez for governor campaign. Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. I did not know that I might actually be doing something very, very wrong and very, very illegal here, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm apparently squatting. I had no idea, because I live rent-free in these people's heads. All of this to just not admit that Dan O'Donnell was right about Evers not running for a third term, and that the announcement was going to happen on Thursday, July 17th. Folks, I was the one who told you all those years ago Tom Barrett was going to leave for, of all places, Luxembourg to be the ambassador under then President Joe Biden, leaving a vacancy in the mayor's office in Milwaukee. I was the one who told you about Hannah Dugan. Dems, please Just understand that I have sources everywhere, primarily because a lot of times my sources come from this audience. I get tips from all over. And we have a big exclusive story coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. It was an insanely violent weekend in Milwaukee this weekend. Even by Milwaukee standards, there were 9 shootings in the span of just a couple of hours. One of those that left a 16-year-old girl dead, committed by someone who has such a familiar story here in Milwaukee that it will make you sick. Plus, the Trump Department of Homeland Security comes down like a hammer on Dane County and the city of Madison for protecting illegal aliens now that one of them struck and killed a young couple while driving drunk. Tragically, this was a story that we first told you about maybe a week or so ago. The young woman was killed. The young man was fighting for his life. Well, unfortunately, on Friday, he succumbed to his injuries after multiple surgeries. We will give you a big update on that following the Daily Trump Date at 4 o'clock. Jam-packed show, of course. In that Trump Date, the president continues his trip to Europe. He is back in Scotland. He met with Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of England, today, a day after striking the biggest trade deal in American history. This thing is absolutely massive. We will get to that and just how wrong all of those experts were about President Trump, his tariffs, and pretty much everything else. It has become beyond apparent that Governor Evers does not like on like a visceral, personal level. And he comes across as, you know, your benign, largely impotent elderly uncle. But when he was asked about endorsing and saying, I'm not going to endorse unless a candidate comes along who I actually want to win, that says it all. Now, remember, he also despises, and his team also despises Dr. Jill Underly, the state superintendent, and he very famously failed to endorse her in a primary where she was being challenged by a far leftist. Now, she dispatched him easily and very easily won a second term as superintendent, but she did so without his endorsement. Evers said today, there's one candidate in this race. There is one declared candidate, and I ain't endorsing her.
The lieutenant governor over the weekend told us she would welcome your endorsement. I'm curious, are you going to endorse in the Democratic primary now?
Probably not. I tend to try to avoid that. So, no, I'll never say never, but I want to make sure who the rest of the candidates are before I even make that decision. That's the important thing. I tend to not get involved with primaries in general, and so that's probably where I hope to be again. But then in turn, if there's somebody that really needs support and I want them to win, I might get in.
I might get in if there's someone I want to win. Just so we're clear, there's one candidate in the race I'm not endorsing right now. Logic would dictate he rather obviously does not want that candidate to win. Now, Sarah Godlewski, who ran for the U.S. Senate, she was the former state treasurer, or current state treasurer at the time. She ran for the Senate in 2022. She has got a wealthy husband, and the two of them, almost hilariously, bought a townhouse in Washington, D.C. as soon as she announced her bid, just assuming she would breeze through the primary process and defeat Senator Ron Johnson in the general election. Well, the party went to her and Alex Lasry, the son of Mark Lasry, one of the former owners of the Milwaukee Bucks, and said, look, the lieutenant governor, Matt Deadbeat Barnes, he is our candidate. You two drop out. This was a week or two before the actual prime. Votes were going on. There were mail-in ballots that were coming in at 3 a.m. at drop boxes across the state of Wisconsin. The vote was already going on, and the two of them dutifully dropped out. Just as the National Democratic Party did with Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar and pretty much every other candidate in the 2020 presidential primary, Democrats, for whatever reason, I don't think there was really much of a chance that Deadbeat was going to lose that primary. But there was at least some apprehension. So they forced Lasry and Godlewski out of the race, and it was rather obvious that Godlewski was paid off to get out of the race when she was named without any fanfare. Most people were surprised that this happened because there was no formal announcement. There was just a press release that shortly after Doug LaFollette won his record 749th term as Wisconsin Secretary of State, he stepped down. Tony Evers nominated and just appointed Sarah Godlewski about a month later. That was her reward, to position her, presumably, for another run for the U.S. Senate in 2028 or to run for governor in 2026. Well, the Associated Press's Scott Bauer is reporting today that Godlewski is not going to run for governor. This is rather interesting. She's going to run for lieutenant governor. And I wonder if the reason for this is that her team looked at this and said, okay, the progressive Karen-ish white woman from Madison role in this primary is already filled by Sarah Rodriguez. That would be a shot across the bow to Kelda Helen Royce, who is also a Karen-ish white progressive woman from Madison. One wonders if she's going to get in. The biggest domino to fall here, I think, is going to be the Attorney General, Josh Call. If he gets in, despite the fact that Evers' team and Call's team hate each other. And in fact, it seems that Josh Call is the least popular Democrat in Wisconsin amongst other Democrats in positions of power. I don't know how many different times I have heard this from how many different people. Nobody apparently likes Josh Call. I don't know if he's got body odor problems. I don't know if he talks smack behind people's back and he, like a catty housewife on a reality show, just like throws wine at Democrat functions in people's faces. I don't know what the deal is with him, but nobody likes Josh Cole. It may just be that he is, at least in name, if not in function, Wisconsin's top cop. I don't know. I just know nobody likes him. I also know that there will be a concerted effort to try to find somebody who is not Sarah Rodriguez, who is not Josh Call, and I am betting David Crowley thinks that he is sort of going to be the default choice from every lib who doesn't like either of those two. To say that Crowley has had an unremarkable tenure as Milwaukee County executive would be putting it mildly. What has the man done except earn a college degree while going to class instead of going to work as Milwaukee County's executive? It's remarkable how little attention was paid to that scandal. He never actually said how many classes he was taking, how many hours he was spending getting his degree. And look, don't get me wrong. I think it's awesome that somebody goes back to school to get a degree. I can remember when Shaquille O'Neal did it, NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal. Just to say to his mom and say to his dad, I'm a college grad. He did it. Vince Carter also did it. Same thing to fulfill a promise. Did either of them miss NBA games to go to classes? I'm taking a wild guess they didn't. David Crowley, we have no idea. And of course, the media in Milwaukee and across the state isn't particularly curious as to just how much work Crowley was missing in order to go to college. Breaking down the Republican field and who very likely has the inside track to the nomination next, when the Dan O'Donnell Show returns after these brief messages.
People should be judged for the content of their character, not the straightness of their teeth.
I'm Mila. The gracious, caring staff at Ross Dental make straight teeth convenient.
Bo, Mila's big brother here. High school social pressure can make students want to be invisible. Ross Dental straight teeth are confidence building.
With Ross Dental straight teeth, you and your children will smile like you just don't care because you don't.
Dr. Ross did imaging and ordered virtually invisible plastic trays that fit over our teeth, shifting them ever so slightly.
Every 5 days or so, we start new trays that shift teeth a little more.
Unlike conventional braces, we can take the trays off to eat and brush our teeth, and they cost less.
A bonus for me is clicking in my jaw stopped.
Dr. Ross is a great dentist, and Dad says Ross Dental is the best deal.
Family dentistry, cosmetic whitening, Ross Dental straight smiles, and full sedation dentistry for anxious patients needing substantial restoration. Our mission, your comfort, health, and confidence. Smile like you just don't care, because you don't. RossDentalWI.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Detlich with Grandview Homes. Life can move fast or slow or somewhere in between. So when you want to sell your home, we're here to work on your schedule. Whether you need to close in 10 days or need more time to get things in order, we'll make it happen. Our process is designed around your needs. We'll buy your home completely as is, no matter the condition. At Grandview Homes, we know your time is precious, and we won't waste it by giving you the runaround. Just a fair, guaranteed offer on your schedule. That's why our offers don't expire, as long as your home and the market stay the same. Whether you have a family home, condo, or rental property in Greater Milwaukee, we're here to help you sell confidently and on your timeline. Grandview Homes, the fastest and easiest way to sell your home. Get your no-obligation offer at grandviewhomes.com today. grandviewhomes.com.
Acumen Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from Acunet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at accunet.com.
I'm Dan Voss from Cut and Go. Ugly and depressing and trees killed off by emerald ash, oak wilt, and Dutch elm disease are dangerous for friends and loved ones, even a potential liability. Slowly rotting, left-standing hardwood trees can weigh tens of thousands of pounds. Even seemingly smaller branches can weigh tens, even hundreds of pounds. With Cut and Go, there is no reason to risk injury or property damage. Live trees in precarious placement for an arborist to remove over homes, garages, commercial buildings, luxury landscapes are easily and safely laid on the ground by Cut and Go's NCCER crane-operated certified remote control automobile mounted articulating crane grapple saw operators. You can save big money and stock up on firewood by having Cut and Go put your trees on the ground for you to clean up or have a bonfire or split firewood, or we can take it all with us when we leave. A Tons of Trees movement. cutandgotrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com. Once again, that's cutandgotrees.com.
Warshawski trial attorney Frank Crivello here. Folks, I'm Victor Harding. Frank is selected Best Lawyers 2024 Complex Litigation Lawyer of the Year.
More impressive is Victor Harding named Product Liability Attorney of the Year again for 2024.
It may sound boastful to mention these prestigious awards.
It's not boastful considering if you or someone you love is injured, you need to know two attorneys from the same personal injury firm being chosen by other lawyers and judges for these caliber of awards is very rare.
Heaven forbid you ever need an injury claim made on your behalf. If you do, the quality of your attorney and law firm will have a greater impact on the outcome than even the facts of your case.
Former clients, other lawyers, judges, law enforcement officers, and even insurance adjusters,
often our adversaries,
refer their family and friends to Warshawski because they know Warshawski will achieve maximum compensation.
Injured? It is about the money.
Warshawski.com.
That's Warshawski.com.
Golf, an insidious addiction for some and a stroll through the park for others. Recreational golf has never been more popular, and with the price of everything being higher, here's your chance to make golf an affordable pastime. Every Wednesday morning at 8, Golf for Less Online offers 2 rounds of 18 for the price of 1, and you get to play great courses like this one.
Now is the perfect time to play your next round at Morningstar Golfers Club, Southeast Wisconsin's most spectacular golf facility. The course has never been in better condition, and discounts are available for play before 10 and after 3. All rates include card and range usage. For tee times and information, call 262-662-1600 or visit them online at golfthestar.com. You play the rest. Now play the best. Morningstar Golfers Club.
2 rounds of 18 for the price of 1. Get your certificates at golfforlessonline.com. That's golfforlessonline.com.
iHeart's Yacht Rock Radio goes commercial-free every weekend. Enjoy the greatest 70s and 80s smooth soft rock all weekend. All commercial-free. High tide, low tide, no tide. Yacht Rock Radio works anywhere. Open the free iHeartRadio app, search Yacht Rock, and make it a preset now.
Injured? Call Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
WISN listeners are wise, enlightened, engaged, and have impeccably good taste. Thank you for making us Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130 WISN.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. You won't believe what the left is freaking out about now. Or maybe you will. Blue jeans commercials. The unhinged liberal of the day coming up in about 10 to 15 minutes. We'll also check in with Dave Spano of Annex Wealth Management. Huge trade deal announced over the weekend between President Trump and the European Union as the president continues his trip to Scotland, as well as England, making a brief stop there to talk to Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the EU. He has spent much of his day meeting with Keir Starmer, the UK prime minister. The Daily Trump date coming up after the top of the hour. There are 2 announced Republican candidates for governor. Businessman Bill Berrien, who, well, I'm just gonna put this plainly, has spent pretty much his first week or 2 weeks in office sounding like a left-winger on the issue of COVID policy. He repeated the lie in an interview with a Green Bay radio station that Trump told people to inject bleach. Now, you'll recall we had a lengthy interview with Bill on this program. In fact, we had him for the entire hour, and I wanted him to explain just an incredibly damning video from August of 2020, where he was laying into Trump for his mishandling of COVID and saying, well, he didn't know yet whether he was going to vote for Trump or Kamala Harris. By August of 2020, look, the entire Republican Party is not a cult of personality where we have loyalty tests to the president of the United States. But if you couldn't tell the difference between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, who was exhibiting massive signs of dementia even before he took office, I got to question some of your judgment there. He's one candidate. So too is Josh Schoeman, who is an energetic, very good speaker. He has done wonders in Washington County. He just hasn't been able to raise much money. He's raised about the amount of money that Bill Berrien has spent in TV ads over the course of the first week or so he was in the race. And Schoeman was the first to announce months earlier. He's struggling, therefore, to break out of the what I call the Lincoln Day circuit, where you go around to all these little Republican events. Lincoln Day is pretty much every local Republican Party will do it. It's like a dinner right around Lincoln's birthday. Sometimes they'll push them into March, April. I host a lot of these. Candidates will always show up, but you're basically preaching to the choir. And I get the importance of that, but in order to broaden your message, you do need to have broadcast digital ads running, blanketing the state. micro-targeted to the best of your ability, to the best that you have the ability to pay for, micro-targeting voters on the issues that matter to them. There is a clear opening for what I would consider to be a candidate who might not clear the field, but I think would have the donor class, the rank and file, pretty much everybody, the elected officials in this state sort of coalesce around him. And that would be Tom Tiffany, the Northwoods congressman. Wouldn't you know that within about an hour of Governor Evers announcing that he was going to retire last Thursday, I was getting texts from Tiffany's team saying, hey, is there any chance Tom could come on today? And I said, well, yes. Does he want to make an announcement live on the radio? And I joked a bit with him about the eager beaver nature of his campaign staff to get him in front of a statewide audience on the day that the governor announces that he's not going to run for re-election, the obvious implication that that raises. But when I asked him, hey, what do you bring to a race that a Josh Showman or a Bill Berrien doesn't? His answer made it sound like he has given this a lot of thought and that he is almost certain to run.
So I'm going to bring a proven vote getter to the ballot. And as people have been talking about, Wisconsin's shifted a little bit. I mean, you have to do well in all parts of the state. And I believe I can do well in all parts of the state. But you've seen our electorate shift a little bit. And it's shifted to northern and western Wisconsin. Those people that have not studied Joe Handrick's analysis of the 2024 election, they should do that, because he refers to it as the northern wall counties. And that's where we have been dominating. I went steadily up every election to where I'm at 63.6 this last election, the highest that we've seen in a couple decades. And so I'm a proven vote getter. I started in town government and now am in Congress. I helped write budgets in the state legislature, in the state Senate, was on the Joint Finance Committee. I know how it all fits together. But I think more than that, you have to win an election. And I am a proven vote getter, and I can deliver the message that is going to pull all parts of our big tent together.
Does that sound like a man who does not plan on getting into this race? I have no inside knowledge, but that doesn't sound like a guy who said, well, I think I'd be a strong candidate, but I've got to listen to my family and I've got to listen to God. And if everything is aligned, then maybe I'll jump in. No. That is a guy who's almost certainly in. How about the number one troll job that pretty much every lefty fell for? Governor Walker is saying over the weekend, no, of course I'm not getting into the governor's race, you idiots. He posted a video from his porch wearing a Brewers hat. He made heads explode on the left by posting a Make Wisconsin Great Again red hat that said 45-47 and pointing out that if he were to run again and win, he would be the 45th and 47th governor of Wisconsin, just as Trump is the 45th and 47th president of the United States. The man is making, I want to say, it's close to seven figures. If he's not making $1 million, it's certainly close. As the president of the Young Americas Foundation, there's no way he's coming back to make less money than the mayor of Milwaukee and all of his political cronies. That, by the way, was another huge story that we broke here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, that immediately after Milwaukee got increased shared revenue, Mayor Cavalier Johnson got raises for himself, the Common Council, and pretty much every political appointee in the city. I do want to get to the impasse, rather the shocking and shameful delay tactics that the city of Milwaukee has resorted to because it doesn't want to pay its police officers. I think we'll get to that in the 5 o'clock hour. I've been meaning to get to this story because it is an important one. It is a big one. That the chief of police got a massive raise. because he's politically connected. The rank and file police officers did not. All that and more coming up here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Coming up next, though, we check in with Dave Spano and name the unhinged liberal of the day. Who could freak out over Sydney Sweeney? The left, that's who.
The Dan O'Donnell Show. We'll be right back.
From the Lynch Truck Center in Waterford Total Traffic Center.
15 minutes northbound, 4145 up to Good Hope. Southbound taking you about 20, jammed from Good Hope to Capitol. 43 northbound to Brown Deer, 10 minutes. Southbound at 20. Earlier crash at Silver Spring is gone. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Stay connected when it matters most. Be prepared with Rapid Radio's walkie-talkies. With instant push-to-talk and LTE nationwide coverage, you can reach family and friends in any emergency. 100% private, no contracts, no hassle.
Stay safe. Order now at rapidradios.com.
I'm Art Flater of Central Office Systems. Any business can be brought to its knees by thieves and IT hackers.
Chris Rozecki here. The IT guy you've known since high school doesn't have the resources to protect your organization.
Central Office Systems is the small business IT company that understands cyber with resources to back up your network.
Does your team work outside the hours of 8 to 5? Does your IT company do the same without nickel and diming you? Central Office Systems. No nickeling, no diming.
You hear those injured ads? Cameras with good resolution working properly cut down on injuries. Cameras deter thieves. Cameras deter scammers. Cameras that work.
With Central Office Systems Managed Network Support, a qualified technician grateful for the opportunity to solve your issue answers the phone within 1 minute.
Camera systems, network security, network support.
Have insurance? Will that satisfy your customers while your company's crucial business functions are zero for a week or two? Real Insurance is utilizing an IT service provider who secures your computers from ever going down.
CentralOfficeSystems.com.
Bob built a brand over the same 20 years iNet has. I bought multiple properties over those years. Bob gets real estate like I never will.
In real estate, every brokerage does the same thing. MLS. Adding auction bidding to MLS, I knew if iNet branded it, told our story, home sellers would understand and accept this real estate revolutionizing platform.
You can be the best in your industry like Redefined Realty is. Even revolutionize your industry like Redefined Realty has with auction. Yet, it's your story that sells.
You can't tell your story as well as iNet Creative Genius will tell your story.
Real estate for winners is exactly what Redefined Realty and auction has always been.
Steven knocked our brand and marketing out of the park.
Selling a home? If you don't use Redefine's MLS and auction platform, you'll leave closing with less money than you would have. Tragic and that simple.
Websites, branding, design, video, and radio. iNet is improving marketing for winners.
iNetJustWeb.com.
CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
Real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
Divorce is challenging, but getting a favorable outcome shouldn't be. I'm attorney Tom Grieve with Divergent Family Law. At Divergent Family Law, our experienced attorneys are committed to helping you understand your rights and options. We believe everyone deserves guidance through life's toughest transitions. During our free consultation, we'll give you a clear breakdown of the process and a flat rate quote for representation. Our attorneys will give you an honest assessment of your options based on Wisconsin law and your local judges. They'll help you make informed, confident decisions. You deserve to feel secure, not shortchanged. You may feel pressured to play nice with your spouse, or you may feel like you have no choice but to dig your heels in to fight on every topic. But being fair doesn't mean giving up your fair share. At Divergent Family Law, we're here to protect your future and prioritize what's truly important to you. You can be fair and still get your fair share, or better. Reach out now for a free divorce consultation. Go to divergentfamilylaw.com. That's divergentfamilylaw.com.
There are trends in healthcare. We can admit that. And the trend right now is to get healthy without pills, without steroids, and without surgery. If you've been offered those options, if your doctor says it's time, do yourself a favor and wait. Hey, I'm Benjamin Yonton. I want to talk to you about QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is different. They're not talking quick fixes. They're talking about revolutionary treatments that work to give your body long-term relief. First thing, you always start out with a face-to-face with their medical director, Dr. Ashley Caravelli, and her team. They explain how regenerative treatments take your body's own healing powers and restore your damaged tissues. These are well-respected treatments that include potent and powerful cellular level treatments. We're not masking the pain. They're going for the very source. You can say goodbye to that chronic pain and simply live your best life. Find out if you're a good candidate. Call QC Kinetics today, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474.
Your home cleaning friend, it's Edelman again. Edelman.
Teachers often make a difference in our lives or the lives of our kids. Here's a chance to do something great for a local public school teacher. Nominate him or her in the iHeartRadio Thank a Teacher Powered by Donors Choose program. Nominated teachers will be in a random drawing to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. It's time now to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day is this random TikToker who is expressing the view of an uncomfortable number of left-wingers who are furious that American Eagle is starring Sydney Sweeney in its new commercials, in which Sweeney, wearing all denim, says, "I've got great jeans." Get it? Jeans. Like the thing she's wearing.
Should we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making fascist propaganda like this? Probably not, but it's still really shocking. Like, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good jeans. Like, that is Nazi propaganda.
I don't think I need to tell you that the woman speaking there was not objectively attractive. So Democrats call an attractive woman starring in a blue jeans commercial Nazi propaganda, yet still wonder why normal people are abandoning them in record numbers. That woman and all of the people like her referring to the Sydney Sweeney commercial as Nazi propaganda. You're unhinged liberals of the day. Turning now to Dave Spano. After one of the biggest trade deals in world history, I think by volume and sheer dollar value, it is the biggest trade deal in world history. President Trump is coming off an impressive series of victories on trade ahead of the August 1st deadline.
Yeah, that's for sure, Dan. You look at all of these uncertainties that are beginning to subside, things that you and I have been talking about the entire year, which were for sure, we saw tax policy, we got that through, fiscal policy, and now we're starting to see trade policy get a whole lot more clear. And then we got monetary policy coming up with the Fed meeting this week. If we see a lot of that uncertainty, you can see the markets reacting to that. So this V-shaped recovery is as fast as any we've seen in history. And so we got earnings coming through. About a third of the companies have reported. Earnings are up about 6.4%. All of this has set up a rally, Dan. And, people are starting to say, where do we go from here? Again, I would caution, we don't know what's around the corner. Despite all of this really good news, we don't know what could happen if Israel picks up what they're talking about. If Trump talked about expediting the Ukraine deal, these geopolitical forces could unwind, or could we get something out of the Fed that we don't like? A balanced portfolio is the way to go. Make sure your portfolio is set up that way.
And the best way to do that is by reviewing it to get you to fully understand what it is you own, why you own it, your cost basis, tax implications, and the people who can do all of that for you are at annexwealth.com. Once again, annexwealth.com. For more on this conversation, check out The Difference. It is a weekly podcast that Dave and I do together, and we talk about the intersection of politics and finance, economics, and how it impacts your bottom line. Check it out on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts. The Daily Trump Date is coming up next as we talk more about the Trump trade deal. Plus, the Department of Homeland Security is making some serious accusations about the city of Madison.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. Listen to Sean Hannity, weekday evenings 6 to 9 on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee. And make WISN the #1 preset on your car radio and on the new iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. Around 185 million people around the country are under a massive heat dome that's causing the temperatures to skyrocket, including here in the Milwaukee area. Fox 6 meteorologist Holly Baker.
We will have a heat advisory that will go into effect, and that will be extended all the way through 8 p.m. That's because we are going to have that heat index to pretty much feel very hot in between 100 and 104 degrees for today.
And police are crediting Good Samaritans who acted during the stabbing spree at a Walmart in Traverse City, Michigan on Saturday. Grand Traverse County Sheriff Mike Shea.
At the time of the deputy's arrival, multiple citizens, including one who was armed with a pistol, were confronting the male suspect in the parking lot and preventing him from harming further people and leaving. The weapon used was a folding knife with a 3.5-inch cutting blade.
Bradford Gilly is facing charges of both terrorism and 11 counts of attempted murder. The 4 o'clock business report brought to you by the Good Feet store. The Dow down today, 64 points. The NASDAQ gained 41, while the S&P lost 5. Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard, Brewers open up a 3-game series tonight against the Cubs at American Family Field. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130, WISN.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
A few showers possible this morning and then partly sunny and hot with a heat advisory kicking in. High near 92, feeling more like 98 to 100 at times. Overnight tonight, another chance for rain and thunderstorms that'll last on into Tuesday. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by First Choice Heating and Cooling.
This heat is unbearable.
Keep your family comfortable with First Choice Heating. For a limited time, get $89 off your AC and heating tune-up. Milwaukee's trusted HVAC company, firstchoiceheating.com.
Most people have no idea there's an invisible gap in their home's protection. This invisible threat is house stealing. Con artists pick a house. They transfer the deed of this house into their name by obtaining the forms, using the fake IDs, and filing the paperwork with proper authorities. Now they own the home. Protect your home from this invisible gap. Check on your home's title right now at HomeTitleLock.com. Be sure to use promo code RADIO, and they will send you a complete title scan of your home's title. And your first 30 days of triple lock title protection is free. HomeTitleLock.com.
Quiet down, here she comes. Surprise! Your accountant just emailed to say your quarterly taxes are way higher than you were expecting.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Also, your favorite employee is leaving. They're going to pursue their dream of being a veterinarian.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
I'm Eric Kralovitz from Good Health Saunas. Check out Good Health Saunas' massive display at the Wisconsin State Fair, July 31st through August 10th. See every model be set up, feel them, touch them, try them out, and compare to find the ideal sauna for you and the entire family. Attendees will receive huge discounts on our show display floor models. Come early, they always sell out. GoodHealthSaunas.com or 365 days a year at 2242 West Blue Mound Road in Waukesha next to Home Depot. That's GoodHealthSaunas.com.
The Census Bureau says more than 12,000 Americans turn 65 each day. It's a surge they call Peak 65, the highest number in history. Some Annex clients retire early. Some keep working because they love it. You know why? Because they've got custom plans built by fee-only fiduciaries. They identified their wants and needs, and we went to work. We want to do the same for you. Annex does financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Visit AnnexWealth.com and click the Get Started button.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Charged with an OWI, it's not just a ticket. It's on your record permanently and can affect your career or your ability to travel. One mistake shouldn't ruin your life. Contact Grieve Law for your OWI defense. GrieveLaw.com.
When Flawless Flooring installs luxury vinyl plank, hardwood, modern laminate, or carpeting, I personally guarantee your satisfaction with every step from shopping through installation. I'm Flawless Flooring's president, Dave Brownsdorf, and I approve this message. Sensory Underload Flawless Flooring. FlawlessFlooringLLC.com.
Family dentistry, cosmetic whitening, Ross Dental straight smiles, and full sedation dentistry for anxious patients needing substantial restoration. Our mission? Your comfort, health, and confidence.
Smile like you just don't care.
Because you don't. RossDentalWI.com.
Imagine your home totally organized. At Closets by Design, we specialize in providing affordable, custom-built storage solutions with built-ins and beyond. From walk-in closets to entertainment centers, our experienced designers work within your budget to design a solution fit perfectly to your needs. Get 40% off plus an additional 15% with 18-month financing. Visit closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get started. Let's get organized together.
Are you tired of being tired? Go to AdventKnows.com.
Benjamin Yount, weekday mornings 9 to 11 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Pretty much every honest Democrat, so basically just Bill Maher, are being forced to admit that they were wrong about the impact of President Trump's tariff regime. They were predicting that the country would be bankrupt by now. Only it hasn't worked that way. President Trump has announced the biggest of a whole lot of big trade deals with the European Union. Daily Trump Day coming up in just a second. If you'd like to join the Dan O'Donnell Show on this, the first day of another busy broadcast week, give us a call. Shoot us a text on the AdventKnows.com talk and text line 414-799-1130, 1-800-838-9476. Email me directly, DOD@iHeartMedia.com. You can find me on social media at Dan O'Donnell Show, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, where we are streaming live on all of those sites, plus our YouTube channel. Just search for us and be sure to subscribe to the Dan O'Donnell Show podcast.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
Well, a whole lot of winning for the Trump administration.
We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
President Trump is at his estate and golf course in Aberdeen, Scotland. He has spent the day meeting with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer a day after announcing an historic trade deal with the European Union. Now, this deal is a major win for the U.S. Such a major win, in fact, that European media, especially left-wing European media, has spent about 24 to 36 hours now screaming bloody murder at what a bad deal it is. Here's a quick summary. 15% tariffs on most goods coming into America from the European Union, including cars. 0 tariffs on key items like aircraft and ship equipment. The EU is going to lower tariffs on farm and industrial goods. Steel and aluminum tariffs stay at 50%. There may be some quotas from the European Union. The EU is going to invest $600 billion, mainly in the U.S. private sector, and purchase $700 billion in American energy over the next 3 years. Now, all this ahead of the August 1st deadline for punishing imposing tariffs on all of the remaining holdouts, including China. Now, the framework of a deal was announced several months ago, but the final deal is not yet in place. President Trump said yesterday that negotiators are right now working on crossing the T's and dotting the I's.
I know that meeting right now. And, we have a good relationship with China. But China's tough. And like you're tough, we're all tough, yes. But we're going to see what happens. We just concluded our deal with Japan. It was very good for everybody. We're making, great deals. We're making deals that are good for us, but we want them to be good for everybody.
Now, according to the Euros, the deal for them wasn't very good. You know who else it wasn't very good for? The United States media. Jeff Zeleny over at CNN sounded positively dejected that there was such an objectively good deal for America.
Isabel, the bottom line is this is the biggest trade deal in President Trump's effort to effectively reshape the global trading order. That has been one of his central priorities since taking office in January. He's been issuing many threats of tariffs, but they clearly have been working in terms of bringing other countries and adversaries alike, in some cases, to the negotiating table. And was today here in Scotland when the leader of the European Commission, who of course is negotiating for the European Union, she agreed to a 15% across the board tariff. Now that is significantly higher than the 10% tariffs in existence now, but it's much lower than the 30% threat that was coming on Friday and the 50% threat that was made in May. So clearly there has been an instance where the president has been using his threats of higher tariffs as a negotiating tactic, and in this case, it certainly worked.
You can actually hear him deliver that report through gritted teeth. Nobody was saltier about this deal, though, than Axios.com. Tweet early this morning. In the Trump-dominated global economy, the U.S. gets plenty, but gives nothing in return. Excuse me? We give access to the biggest consumer market on planet Earth. And it's not even close, given the purchasing power that American consumers have. You want access? You want us to give you access to that? You give us something in return. For the past 50 to 70 years, the United States has been walked all over. President Trump is saying no longer. And as if trade deals weren't enough, we also have another Trump-brokered ceasefire. Trump, posting on Truth Social this afternoon, just spoke to the acting Prime Minister of Thailand and Prime Minister of Cambodia. I am pleased to announce that after the involvement of President Donald J. Trump, both countries have reached a ceasefire and peace. Congratulations to all. By ending this war, we have saved thousands of lives. I've instructed my trade team to restart negotiations on trade. I have now ended many wars in just 6 months. I am proud to be the president of peace, as well as humility. That's why we love President Trump. You know who doesn't? The Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, has announced a multi-state lawsuit, which Wisconsin is part of, thanks to our feckless AG, Josh Cole. They are literally suing the Trump administration because they're kicking illegal aliens off food stamps.
Everyday SNAP benefits make it possible for working families to afford to put food on the table. And more than half of those who receive SNAP are families with children, and more than a third have elderly or disabled family members. Without SNAP, many families would not be able to count on their next meal. For decades, SNAP has prevented people from going hungry and saved countless lives. But now, this administration is attempting to use this program as a tool in their cruel and chaotic targeting of immigrants.
Yeah, the crux of the lawsuit really is people who have no right to or claim to American taxpayer benefits should have American taxpayer benefits. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your daily Trump Day. To look at what was happening at the Trump White House today. The Trump Department of Homeland Security has put out just a blistering statement. statement condemning Dane County and the city of Madison after an illegal immigrant from Honduras, Noelia Saray Martinez Avila, drove her SUV drunk the wrong way on a highway just outside Madison and killed a young couple. Hallie Helgeston, who is 18 years old, died at the scene. This happened about a week and a half ago. 19-year-old Brady Heiling, who is behind the wheel, ultimately succumbed to his injuries a few days later. Now, Martinez Avila is 30 years old. She arrived at the southern border illegally in February of 2018. She was released by the feds after claiming to be 2 months pregnant. There is no evidence that she actually was. Within 2 years of being in this country, she was convicted of drunk driving in November of 2020. She was ordered to install an ignition interlock device, and she never did. She also drove without a license. She has citations for speeding, following too closely, inattentive driving. They found multiple open beer cans in her Chevy Suburban. She was unable to take a field sobriety test. A breath test showed she was more than twice the legal limit. She told cops she was heading from Madison to her home in Portage. She could not remember the name of the street that she lived on. The statement put out yesterday by DHS should concern all Wisconsinites. Why is it that one city and one county are just refusing to cooperate with federal law, are giving safe harbor to people like Noelia Saray Martinez Avila, who should have been booted out of this country with her first DUI? Dane County, says the press release, where the crash took place, has historically not honored ICE detainers due to sanctuary jurisdiction policies. Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin says Hallie Helgeston and Brady Heiling had their whole lives ahead of them, and they would still be alive today if it weren't for Noelia Saray Martinez Avila, a criminal illegal alien from Honduras. Martinez Avila recklessly drove the wrong way on a highway while intoxicated and killed these two teens. ICE has lodged an arrest detainer to remove this public safety threat from the U.S. Unfortunately, this sanctuary jurisdiction has a history of not honoring ICE arrest detainers, often leading to the release of murderers and other heinous criminals. Under Secretary Kristi Noem, these precious victims will not be forgotten, and we will fight for justice. Helgeston and Heiling were high school sweethearts. Helgeston just graduated from high school. The last picture or post of them on social media was a highlight reel of them going to prom, and it was a tribute post from Helgeston to her boyfriend saying 3 years of us. They had been dating pretty much throughout high school, and they're gone. They are gone. They are dead because Dane County protects people like Noelia Martinez Avila. Every single Wisconsinite, every single person who cares about law and order should be up in arms over the treatment, over the coddling, over the outright protection of these criminals. Two young people who might have got married, might have had a family, might have done incredible things with their life together after the 3 years of incredible things they did together as teenagers. That's not going to happen now because Dane County, which has had multiple contacts with this drunk, refused to turn her over to ICE. It's not just her, it is every other dangerous, felonious deviant who should not be in this country, protected by the very people whose job it is to protect the citizenry. We just did a story a couple of months ago about the Dane County Jail refusing to turn over any information about any inmate to ICE. There was an illegal alien who very nearly committed a mass shooting at an indoor soccer field a few weeks back, being protected by the Dane County Sheriff's Office, being protected by the Dane County justice system. At what point are the people who are victimized by Madison politics, Dane County politics, Milwaukee politics, at what point are they going to stand up and say no more? You are required to cooperate with state law. You may not want to preemptively, the Trump administration deputized every local law enforcement agency to have the ability to enforce federal immigration law. Almost every single one said no, because big cities are invariably, even medium-sized cities, controlled by Democrats. You don't have to do that. But when the federal government says, we want ICE to detain this guy and prepare him or her for deportation, who the hell does Dane County think it is to say, no, we're not going to do that? But Madison, Wisconsin, a tiny little isthmus filled with college kids and freaks, thinks it can just kind of say to the federal government, nah. I'm trying to think of the shoe being on the other foot and what would happen. There was just what was it? The ban on gay conversion therapy, which liberals are they're convinced just happens all the time. If there is a Christian summer camp, they must be doing gay conversion therapies, trying to, pray away the gay from you. This is one of those liberal fever dreams in which every conservative is some weird cultist. Imagine if a court said no more gay conversion therapies, and Waukesha County just said, nah, it's actually going to be part of our 4th of July celebration. We're going to have the fireworks, we're going to have the drone show, and we're going to de-gay some little fruitcakes. Like, come on. Would anybody stand for that? Of course not. How is it that the left thinks, and this mindset is so pervasive that you've actually got a sitting judge in Milwaukee County thinking that it's well within the role of her judgeship, it is well within her accepted authority as a judge to sneak a violent criminal illegal out the back of her courtroom, out of the jury room door, in order to avoid detection by ICE agents looking to take him into custody for deportation. That is the extent of this psychopathy. The belief that somehow Madison, what do they used to call it, an isthmus surrounded by reality, that it is like its own little, remember when the crazy libs in Seattle declared their own autonomous zone, Chaz? It's almost like these sanctuary cities think they're autonomous zones. All right, fine by me. Ban every ounce of federal funding from Madison. Every dollar from Dane County, just all of it gone, done. You don't want to play by our rules? Guess what? We're not going to fund you. Oh, don't worry. There will be some federal judge at the lowest level of the judiciary there to reverse that ruling, like a judge actually did today. I do want to get to this big exclusive story that we have about the killer, or at least alleged killer, of a 16-year-old girl in Milwaukee last night. I've got information. Yeah, you'd better believe that this perp was out when he most definitely shouldn't be, because that's just what we do in Milwaukee. But there was a ruling. The Trump administration cannot fund Planned Parenthood. It cannot defund Planned Parenthood, by the way, because there wouldn't be enough abortions for this judge's liking. We'll get into that story to illustrate the absurdity of the liberal mind when the Dan O'Donnell Show returns after this.
Dan O'Donnell will be right back.
from the Lynch Buick GMC of West Bend Total Traffic Center.
4145 southbound, heavy through the roadwork. Good Hope to Capitol and northbound between North and Hampton. 4194 northbound down at Highway C, a stall on the right shoulder, and at Highway 20 off to the left. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless. Don't let data limits hold you back from being the gift master in the family group chat. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network. Straight Talk, available at straighttalk.com or Walmart.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries now.
Medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
The party starts at American Family Field on Friday, August 8th at Cerveceros Night. Join the Brewers for a specially curated Makers Market, live music, and a primetime battle against the Mets. Grab your seats for Cerveceros Night at brewers.com/community nights.
Divergent Family Law offers free consultations for divorce and flat rate quotes so you can make informed decisions about your next steps. Our experienced attorneys are committed to helping you understand your rights and options. Your fair share or better, divergentfamilylaw.com.
If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Their physicians specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center. See orthowisconsin.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules. Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
The talk shows on WISN Radio, not for the faint of heart and not for the feeble of mind. News Talk 1130 WISN. Fact is, until you've heard us, you haven't heard the whole story.
During the Trump years, there have been a number of insane, baseless rulings from far-left district court judges. We spent a lot of time on this, the Dan O'Donnell Show, explaining why. This is a strategy that Democrats have concocted. In fact, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer admitted it, that they spent the last year of the Biden administration stocking the court with left-wing activists in order to prepare for what I'm convinced everybody knew was coming, and that was a second Trump term. And then there was some backbench congresswoman from California who accidentally said the quiet part out loud and said there's a working group of about 90 congressional representatives and liberal activists and lawyers and attorneys general from across the country, and every week we meet in secret on conference calls to plot out legal strategy as to how to stop the Trump administration. A ruling that came out this morning from a judge in, I believe it was Massachusetts, has blocked the Trump administration's efforts to defund Planned Parenthood and ordered that Medicaid funds keep going to Planned Parenthood. Now, it wasn't just the Trump administration that ordered this. Congress signed off on one of these rescission packages, clawing back funds from where Congress didn't want the money to go. Now, if it was just Trump, there might have been some basis for this order, because Congress, of course, has the power of the purse, and Congress ultimately gets to decide how money is spent. It did. and it decided that Planned Parenthood no longer gets Medicaid funds. What was the judge's ruling for the justification for this ruling? Quote, patients are likely to suffer adverse health consequences where care is disrupted or unavailable. In particular, restricting members' ability to provide healthcare services threatens an increase in unintended pregnancies and attendant complications because of reduced access to effective contraceptives and an increase in undiagnosed and untreated STIs. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think it needs to be repeated. There is not a human being alive who goes to Planned Parenthood for anything other than abortions. That is their bread and butter. That accounts for an overwhelming percentage of their revenue. And oh, by the way, Planned Parenthood does not just give away the abortions. You have to pay for them. They can still make money via the abortion racket. The judge is saying because there will be fewer abortions, Congress does not have the right to defund somebody that will provide abortions. Congress and the president getting together saying, all right, as a policy decision, even though the Supreme Court has already ruled in Dobbs v. Jackson that abortion is now the purview of the state. A state gets to decide for itself whether or not to legalize abortion, whether or not there will be restrictions on abortion. This was something under the 10th Amendment that was never contemplated by the Congress, and therefore it's left to the several states or to the people themselves. This is basic constitutional law. Whatever you feel about abortion, Congress and the president have the ability to, if they both agree on what should be and should not be funded, they have the ability to decide for themselves. This is the power that we vest in the two political branches in this country, the power to decide these issues about whether or not we should fund, say, Planned Parenthood, we should fund public television. What's next? And by the way, there will be a ruling. I am just waiting for it, saying that it is unconstitutional to defund NPR because we think people need to hear the Prairie Home Companion, and it's a deprivation of the rights to not hear Garrison Keillor droning on, attempting to be humorous. I actually like Garrison Keillor. I've never found him humorous, but I respect him. I think he's been retired for probably about a decade now. I don't know why he's catching strays on the Dan O'Donnell show right now. But I've never seen a ruling like this, where a judge just admits, hey, I think people are not going to get the abortions that I want them to get, so we're just going to undo the will of Congress signed into law by the President of the United States. When we talk about the tyranny of the judiciary, this is exactly what we're talking about. Once again, the United States needs to, or Supreme Court needs to step in and enforce its ruling saying, look, district court judges can't issue these ridiculous nationwide injunctions. When we come back, an exclusive story about the murder of a 16-year-old girl during an especially violent weekend in Milwaukee. You don't want to go anywhere. The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Southbound on 894 got delays down to about Greenfield, slowing again from Beloit to the Hale interchange, and then eastbound delays continue over to 60th Street. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Lynch Automotive family of dealerships.
It's the 10th sales event all month long at the Lynch family of dealerships. Hundreds of vehicles priced to sell. Plus, get a $2,500 trade assist on top of Kelley Blue Book Fair Trade Value. The deals are heating up only at Lynch. Visit shoplynch.com today.
An auction to sell your house? And it includes a 2.99% full service MLS listing? Come on. Put simply, the absolute best way to sell your home is a Redefined Realty MLS listing enhanced by the EasyHomeBidder.com auction bidding platform. You get max profits and minimal contingencies. Buyers and sellers both love winning at auction. Traditional real estate agents put houses on MLS, then talk sellers into accepting offers. It's always been done that way. While buyers can still make a traditional offer, auctions powered by EasyHomeBidder.com allow every interested party to compete for your home through MLS and at auction on your terms. Sellers never lose a penny again. Dorothy's Ruby Slippers would not have sold for $28 million without an auction. Similarly, the maximum price of your home will only be achieved at auction. Traditional real estate agents sell ordinary MLS services. Redefine's Mentors of Winning enhance the home selling process combining auction and MLS. RedefinedRealty.com. Buyers win, sellers win. Real estate's future is now. Real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
Hi, it's Jay. Let's talk about the roof on your home. A lot of you will need to replace your roof this summer, but be forewarned, there are roofing companies out there that skip over the most important part of the process, the attic ventilation. If your attic doesn't have proper air circulation, it can cause problems like mold and wood rot, leaks in the winter, not to mention higher AC bills in the summer. This is one of the reasons I recommend Semperfi Roofing to my listeners. Their process begins with a free 21-point roof inspection that includes a thorough inspection of your attic. They know that if the ventilation isn't right, the roof will be built on a shaky foundation. Every Semperfi roof comes with a well-thought-out attic ventilation plan, and that's why they can offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. Money-saving discounts and financing incentives are available. Call for your free 21-point roof inspection and estimate today, 262-600-2910, or book an appointment online at semperfiroofing.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
I'm attorney Tom Grieve, here to tell you about Grieve Civil Law. There's a lot of things in life we put off for far too long. Going to the doctor or the gym or the dentist. We know we should do it, but there's always something else more urgent. Estate planning cannot be put off. Life is unexpected. Have you thought about what your family would go through if you died without a will? Probate is stressful, time-consuming, and costly. It can cause family disputes and resentment. Is that what you want your legacy to be? Don't procrastinate when it comes to your family's future. Protect them from chaos and confusion. Don't let your legacy be the mess you left them with. You probably hear a lot of ads that say, time is running out, don't wait. It's a marketing gimmick. We all know there will be another sale soon. When it comes to estate planning, time is literally running out. Plan today and have peace of mind tomorrow. Don't gamble with your life's work. Don't gamble with your family's future. GrieveCivilLaw.com. Because time is running out.
Bob from Redefined Realty here. I'd written my own ads for 20 years.
Grave genius. Here. Same. Well, Inet's ads and 100 other businesses' ads.
Writing your own ads, you kind of get stuck repeating the same message. Different words, but the same perspective.
Before introducing Easy Home Bidder, Bob came to Inet to brand his brainchild, MLS listing backed by auction. It's brilliant. MLS guarantees the home is found. Auction guarantees the highest sale price. Period.
Inet branded it, wrote our story, knocked our marketing out of the park. When you think of selling your home, you know MLS and auction together is the right choice.
Redefined also benefits from unparalleled radio buying power, industry influence, and extracurricular enhancement of being part of the Inet community. More than 1,000 businesses working together for each other's successes.
Websites, branding, design, video, and radio. Inet is improving the economy one business at a time.
InetDishWeb.com.
CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
Buyers, sellers, real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
Aloha! Dreaming of sandy beaches and ocean breezes? JTV's Tropical Treasure Sweepstakes could make that dream come true. Enter for your chance to win a fabulous Hawaiian getaway for two with luxury accommodations, airfare, and spending cash. Plus, just for entering, get $30 off your next qualifying JTV purchase of at least $99 when you opt in for emails. Don't miss out. Visit jtv.com/sweeps and enter by August 3rd. JTV, where paradise awaits.
Injured? Call Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Here's what's trending now on the new and improved iHeartRadio app.
Can you believe it's already been 10 years? Yeah, we're celebrating 10 years of iHeart Country. From unforgettable performances to the biggest names in country music. Thank you for making us your home for all things country over the past decade. Celebrate by listening to iHeart Country Radio and get to know the voices of iHeart Country. And don't forget to tag iHeart Country to share your favorite moments on social media.
Explore the latest. Open the free iHeartRadio app and see what's trending now.
This is where sycophants and chills are shunned, and commitment to the unvarnished truth is sustained. Just one reason that this is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130. WISN.
Nine people are injured, 2 are dead after an incredibly violent Sunday in Milwaukee. It was a gorgeous day. I spent it with friends and family on a lake in inner city Milwaukee. A lot of people spent it shooting one another. 1:48 p.m. Sunday afternoon, 19th and Nash. One person dead, another injured. 62-year-old pronounced dead at the scene. Second victim, 53. He was transported to a hospital for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries. Water Street and Knapp, 2:30 a.m. Sunday morning. 31-year-old shot and injured. Non-fatal gunshot wound, taken to a hospital. 3:30 a.m. 62nd and Marion, 26-year-old shot and injured. Suspect is in custody. 26th and Kilbourne, just after 6 p.m. last night. 52-year-old victim sustained gunshot wounds, taken to the hospital for treatment. Circumstances leading up to the shooting are under investigation. Suspect is in custody. 28th and Highland, 6:17 p.m. last night. So 17 minutes later, just a couple of blocks away. 26th and Kilbourne and 28th and Highland are pretty close to each other. 19-year-old and 41-year-old, both shot and injured, both hospitalized. 50th and Wright, 23-year-old shot and injured around 11:50 p.m. And finally, 3 people were shot around 10:41 p.m. at North Long Island Drive and Custer Avenue. A 16-year-old girl sustained fatal gunshot wounds and was pronounced deceased at the scene. 2 other victims, ages 16 and 17, were treated for injuries at the hospital. I can report exclusively that the suspect, one of the suspects, a 16-year-old, was actually out on signature bond after being charged as an adult with an incident back in February in which he stole a car and then took off and was, for some reason, not charged with car theft or operating a vehicle without the owner's consent, but only charged with fleeing or eluding an officer. And he was out at the time of the murder last night on $2,000 signature bond, meaning he did not have to pay a single cent to get out. Now, the suspect was placed on electronic monitoring. He stole a car from 2 people. He was ordered not to have contact with them. I do not have the criminal complaint just yet. Remember, this is a 16-year-old boy. The other suspect in this case is a 17-year-old who also has a prior charge of fleeing or eluding officers. There was some sort of dispute. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly happened. But the 16-year-old who allegedly shot the 16-year-old girl to death was himself shot in the chest. I have no update as to the suspect's condition at this time. But I do know that two people are in custody, the 16-year-old and the 17-year-old. Both are boys. Everybody involved here is a teenager. What I do know about these sorts of cases, so basically, this guy, instead of being locked up, he's out on the streets. Now, I don't know if he was wearing his electronic monitoring bracelet. A lot of good that would have done. The point, though, is that we have yet another criminal engaging in extreme, out-of-control violence after they've been released on signature bond. Now, you might say, well, Dan, this is the only prior criminal charge that 16-year-old has picked up. The only prior charge as an adult. I don't think I need to tell you, society views you as an adult at 18 if your case is significant enough, if it is deemed to be serious enough, you can be charged not as a juvenile, but as an adult. In this case, the suspect, who I'm not naming because he has not yet been criminally charged. As of right now, I have this information from law enforcement sources. Now, there is no reason to doubt this is the suspect. But until he is formally criminally charged, and it is my belief he is going to be charged at least as party to the crime of first-degree intentional homicide, although is it entirely possible that the teenage girls who were shot back, or they were the ones who shot first? I don't know. It is my guess that law enforcement is sorting together what may be a very, very complicated thing. They all hanging out. There's two boys and two girls. Was this a double date that went hellishly wrong? I have no idea. What I do know, though, is that, and I am working feverishly to try to figure out the prior conviction or prior charge of the 17-year-old, who was also theoretically charged as an adult, although it is possible he was charged as a juvenile also with fleeing or eluding. Now, the 16-year-old, is it possible that the two of these guys were in the exact same stolen car and tried to take off? That's what I'm trying to figure out. It's likely the 16-year-old was charged as an adult because of a potentially violent nature of this car theft and the fact that he was the one driving. What is very bizarre to me, however, is the fact that he's caught in a stolen car. It says right in his court record, he is not allowed to have contact with the two people whose car he stole. Why is he not charged with the theft of the car? I mean, it's in the court record. Like, why did the district attorney just, well, he's in a stolen, we don't know if he stole the car. That's why we have operating without owner's consent, because it can't always be proven that someone who's driving around in a stolen car was the one who stole the car. Do you get my drift? That it was just, and they always have a story for how, if you ever get a Milwaukee, if you're ever talking to a Milwaukee cop who's ever had any experience with car theft, ask them the most hilarious excuses people who they've pulled over in stolen cars have for being in the stolen car. There's, it was sold to me like 2 weeks ago by a guy. I don't know. I only knew him as Pookie. I don't know. And you just bought the car. Yeah, $250 for a 2023 Honda Civic. Just $250. But yeah, it was Honda Civic. Who am I kidding? It's a Kia or a Hyundai. When exactly are we going to? The voters of this state said with a loud voice, we want tougher bail. We want criminals like this who are stealing cars to be behind bars, specifically so they don't go out and commit more crimes and kill innocent people. Now, I don't know, actually, if this 16-year-old was innocent, because this guy got a slug right to the chest back to him. I I have absolutely no idea who was shooting who. But I do know that this guy is wanted on suspicion of homicide, or he's in custody under arrest on suspicion of homicide. Wisconsin voters amended their constitution to get people like this off the street, regardless of their age. And this should also be eye-opening. You got a 16-year-old. All the people in us, like 16, 17, and 18. These are the people who are involved in these shootings. These are the 4 people. 2 women and one of the suspects shot. 1 dead. These are teenagers. And we decide, you know what? All you need to do is sign on don't even post a token amount, like a couple $100 for bail to secure your freedom. In just open defiance of what the people of this state wanted. By the way, the court commissioner who set the signature bond is Andrea Bolender. I have no prior contact or knowledge of her, but that's who set the signature bond for the guy who is now going to be charged with some form of homicide for killing a 16-year-old girl.
Dan on Facebook, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. Dan O'Donnell will be right back.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Very heavy 43 southbound Good Hope to the Marquette from Brown Deer takes 25 minutes. Jam southbound 4145 Good Hope to Capitol 20 down to the Zoo interchange. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless. Don't let data limits hold you back from being the gift master in the family group chat. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get real and limited data on a reliable 5G network. Straight Talk, available at straighttalk.com or Walmart.
Dan O'Donnell for the Lynch family of dealerships, letting you know about the Lynch tent sales event. Summer has finally arrived, and that means it's time to get your vehicle ready for that annual road trip up north, or maybe you're heading out to your favorite county fair or concert. You can always trust the Lynch service department with their convenient hours to get your vehicle safe and ready for the road. But maybe your current ride needs a little more TLC than usual. Maybe it's time to visit the showroom and receive a $2,500 trade assist on top of Kelley Blue Book Fair Trade-In value for your current car. It's the Lynch Tent Sales Event all month long, with hundreds of vehicles priced aggressively to sell and a $2,500 trade assistance on top of Kelley Blue Book Fair value. The deals are heating up at Lynch. Take that road trip up north in the comfort of a new or Lynch certified car, truck, or SUV. The Lynch Tent Sales Event happening all month long. Visit a showroom today or visit shoplynch.com.
You've got an app for music, an app for photos, maybe even one that helps you sleep. But only one app puts the live radio dial in your pocket and lets you save your favorite stations, playlists, and podcasts as presets. Get the free iHeartRadio app, the #1 app for radio.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
Hi, I'm Willa Voss. I'm 8 years old. Mom and Dad own Cut and Go Tree Service. Yes, they did name me after a tree. Our family loves this country and the freedom it provides. Every morning, I look forward to starting the school day with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please say it along with me, even if you just say it in your mind. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. American patriots will enjoy a 5% discount for flying the American flag and mentioning this commercial when the Cut and Go remote control, automobile mounted, articulated crane, grapple saw operators are putting your dead trees on the ground or removing large branches that grew over something important. An all-American Tons of Trees movement. CutandGoTrees.com. That's CutandGoTrees.com.
There are trends in healthcare. We can admit that. And the trend right now is to get healthy without pills, without steroids, and without surgery. If you've been offered those options, if your doctor says it's time, do yourself a favor and wait. Hey, I'm Benjamin Yonton. I want to talk to you about QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is different. They're not talking quick fixes. They're talking about revolutionary treatments that work to give your body long-term relief. First thing, you always start out with a face-to-face with their medical director, Dr. Ashley Caravelli, and her team. They explain how regenerative treatments take your body's own healing powers and restore your damaged tissues. These are well-respected treatments that include potent and powerful cellular-level treatments. We're not masking the pain. They're going for the very source. You can say goodbye to that chronic pain and simply live your best life. Find out if you're a good candidate. Call QC Kinetics today, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474.
Monsters hairball, googly eyes, looks like Clogzilla is back in your sink.
Not again. This always happens when I shave my back hair. Hello, Clogzilla.
Have no fear. There's a drain hero here. Just call the pros at Capital when things get hairy.
Need help defeating the beast beneath your sink? Call Capital for our best drain clearing offer ever. For only $49, we'll unclog your drain.
Old-fashioned service you can't go wrong. Call CapitalCares.com. Your home cleaning friend. It's Edelman again. Edelman.
You love her twice as much today as the day you married her, right?
Welcome to Kessler's.
Conservative thought, not just talk.
No talking points, just in-depth analysis and exclusive investigations.
The Dan O'Donnell Show, weekday afternoons 3 to 6 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
I do have to issue a correction on that last story, and it's for quite possibly the most embarrassing reason possible. The two victims were not girls, but rather boys in that triple shooting homicide. My eyes are getting so bad, I couldn't read the text from one of my sources. And so in cop shorthand, they will say black male B/M, black female B/F. I totally couldn't see the M for male. So yeah, you got to own it. When you make a mistake, you got to own it. The working theory is that everybody was hanging out, or this was some sort of setup robbery. It's not entirely clear what happened. Officers found like a carbine rifle that one of the suspects jettisoned. One of them, the suspects, they were found hiding in a bush together, and one of them was shot in the chest. That is the suspect who was arrested and released on signature bond in connection with a car theft, which he wasn't charged with, even though he was the driver of a stolen car and was ordered not to have contact with the victim of the car theft. He was charged only with fleeing or eluding an officer. I'm going to wait to see what the criminal charge is. Both suspects, who were found shortly after the shooting was called in, are in custody on suspicion of homicide, but it's, again, not sure what's going on because there was obviously some sort of shootout between the 16-year-old who was killed. That is a boy, not a girl. I said in the last segment, if it was a date that went bad, boy, this would be a date that went real bad. It was. I shouldn't laugh because a 16-year-old is dead. And this is just, it's, I guess. About 8 different shootings. Yeah, there's more absolute chaos on Water Street on Saturday night. In the 5 o'clock hour, I want to get to this story because the family has reached out to me too, or one of the families involved in this. Girls are very seriously injured in a reckless driving case on Water Street. No criminal charges are filed. Someone slams through a police barricade and hits 2 innocent girls who are celebrating a college graduation on Water Street about a week ago. One remains in the ICU with just a laundry list of horrible, horrible injuries. MPD is saying this was a tragic accident, and the families are saying, how Exactly. Really quickly, let's get the unsung hero of the day. Brought to you by Blue Line Cleaning Services, residential and commercial cleaning done by professionals. Today's unsung hero is Derek Perry. He is a Marine who was armed and stopped a knife-wielding man who authorities say stabbed 11 people at a Walmart in Michigan on Saturday, seen in a video that went mega viral on social media, pointing a firearm at the suspect in the store's parking lot in Traverse City. He and other bystanders are shouting, "Drop the knife." Perry's family says he is a Marine veteran, says the New York Post. Says Dan O'Donnell, he is your unsung hero of the day. We're going to take a break for the news. Chance to win a trip for four to Irish Fest when we come back here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference. Listen to Benjamin Yount, weekday mornings 9 to 11 on News Talk 1130 WISN Milwaukee. And make WISN the #1 preset on your car radio and on the new iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. As expected, former Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker officially said he will not run for office in 2026. However,
that doesn't mean I'll never run again. In fact, I'm actually a quarter century younger than Joe Biden. That means I've got plenty of time and I don't need an auto pen.
After announcing he would not seek a third term as governor, Tony Evers issued another round of pardons.
204 more pardons were granted by the Democratic governor on Friday, bringing his total to 1,640. Sean Maloney, Wisconsin Radio Network.
And President Trump announced a new trade deal with the European Union that would lower tariffs to 15%. Checking the holiday automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard, Brewers opened up a big 3-game series against the Cubs tonight at American Family Field. First pitch, 6:40. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
A few showers possible this morning and then partly sunny and hot with a heat advisory kicking in. High near 92, feeling more like 98 to 100 at times. Overnight tonight, another chance for rain and thunderstorms that'll last on into Tuesday. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Stay connected and stay productive with Rapid Radios. Business owners trust Rapid Radios for instant, reliable team communication with nationwide LTE coverage, push-to-talk convenience, and room for up to 200 units on one feed. Keeping connected's never been easier.
Order now at rapidradios.com. When Flawless Flooring installs luxury vinyl plank, hardwood, modern laminate, or carpeting, I personally guarantee your satisfaction with every step from shopping through installation. I'm Flawless Flooring's president, Dave Brownsdorf, and I approve this message. Sensory underload, Flawless Flooring. FlawlessFlooringLLC.com.
We're the Libby family
at Do-It-Yourself Bathroom Center near State Fair on 62nd and Greenfield.
Bathrooms and kitchens are our specialty.
We use real wood cabinets and quartz tops to make beautiful rooms you will love for many, many years.
And our experts really know their stuff.
Remember our slogan,
I did it myself at Do-It-Yourself.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Charged with an OWI, it's not just a ticket. It's on your record permanently and can affect your career or your ability to travel. One mistake shouldn't ruin your life. Contact Grieve Law for your OWI defense. GrieveLaw.com.
I'm Total Health's Jay Johnson. The Falls and New Berlin. Additives, chemicals, and toxins in your diet can miswire the way your genes express themselves. Food is critical for health. Increased energy, better sleep, reversing chronic disease. A healthier, happier, pain-free you is simple. Schedule your free Total Health consult. Holistic health coaches will guide you to a healthier, happier, truly you. Seed oils, the #1 source of calories in American diets, were developed as fuel in industrial lubricants. Seed oils cause dozens of chronic illnesses. Big Healthcare solution to nutritional-related illness is their same solution to all health-related problems. Drugs that also alter the way your genes express themselves, leaving root causes, making you increasingly sick over time. What they never tell is eliminate seed oils from your diet, and cutting back on sugar will immediately improve your health. It's true. Total Health finds root causes of sickness, including nutritional deficiencies, then helps you, the whole complete you, achieve wellness. It's not theory. Relativity equals expertise plus execution. TotalHealthInc.com. That's TotalHealthInc.com.
Quiet down. Here she comes. Surprise! Your accountant just emailed to say your quarterly taxes are way higher than you were expecting.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Also, your favorite employee is leaving. They're going to pursue their dream of being a veterinarian.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Most people have no idea there's an invisible gap in their home's protection. This invisible threat is house stealing. Con artists pick a house. They transfer the deed of this house into their name by obtaining the forms, using the fake IDs, and filing the paperwork with proper authorities. Now they own the home. Protect your home from this invisible gap. Check on your home's title right now at HomeTitleLock.com. Be sure to use promo code RADIO and they will send you a complete title scan of your home's title. And your first 30 days of triple lock title protection is free. HomeTitleLock.com.
BlueMountainExpress.com. We will improve your move statewide.
Kowal Investment Group, now Creative Planning, is a registered investment advisor. Now for your business report from Creative Planning. For informational purposes only, past performance is not indicative of future results.
Good afternoon. I'm certified financial planner John White with your afternoon business report. U.S. stocks wavered on Monday as the U.S. and European Union struck a trade deal, kicking off a packed week of big tech earnings, a Federal Reserve meeting, inflation data, the July jobs report, and President Trump's August 1st deadline to lock in key trade deals. All eyes will be on the Fed as it begins a two-day policy meeting on Tuesday with an interest rate decision expected Wednesday. While the central bank is expected to keep rates at 4.25% to 4.5%, the watch is on for signs that policymakers are warming to a rate cut in September. It all comes alongside Trump's general pressure on the central bank and Chairman Jerome Powell. On the day, the Dow was down 64 points to close at 44,837. The S&P 500 is up 1 point, and the Nasdaq is up 70 points. From Creative Planning, I'm John White.
I don't want to spoil it for anyone who is waiting with bated breath for the Fed's decision on Wednesday, but there is no chance they're going to cut interest rates after all of the pressure that President Trump put on Jerome Powell just over the course of the past several days. If you are listening to us on WISN, our over-the-air feed, you would have heard the business report from Sean White. So, well, nobody's quite sure what the Fed is going to do. No, I am very sure what the Fed is going to do. It's going to hold the key interest rate steady. They're going to give guidance that a rate cut is almost certain to happen in September, but if they cut rates now, it's going to look like Trump's pressure campaign on Powell worked, where Trump went to the Fed to tour the $2.5 billion repair project. He slapped Powell on the back and said, you can lower interest rates. What can Chairman Powell do, or what do you want him to do? And I want him to lower interest rates, and slapped him on the back a little too hard to be considered like a friendly slap on the back, but also Trump is a big guy and Powell is not. The two of them did. You know, what is so refreshing about Trump, and this really is presidents have been putting pressure on Federal Reserve chairs forever to lower interest rates. This is just the first time you see it happen publicly. Like, remember when Zelensky got kicked out of the Oval Office because he and Trump and Vance, they just had a blowout meeting in front of reporters, in front of the entire world. This was within the first 2 months or so of Trump's second term. It wasn't that this never happens. It's just that this is happening in full view of the American people. To say this is not the most transparent administration just within its first 6 months in any of our lifetimes, and thus American history, is ludicrous. We'll try to get into this a little bit later. J.D. Vance, the vice president, just went off on the Epstein questions that the media is all of a sudden interested in after 4 straight years of saying anybody who uttered the name Jeffrey Epstein or said Epstein didn't kill himself was a dangerous conspiracy theorist. Now it's somehow Trump is a pedophile who is protecting other pedophiles. It's stunning to me how quickly lefties just adopt whatever narrative they are spoon-fed. Just in the first 6 months of Trump's second term, what have we had? Let's see. Going in reverse order, Trump is a pedophile. Trump is a king. Remember the No Kings protest. Trump is going to bankrupt the country through his tariff and trade war. Trump is an inhuman monster because he's separating a poor Maryland father from his family. Turns out it's a human trafficking gangbanger who beat the holy hell out of his wife, who filed not one but two restraining orders against him. Before that, it was Trump isn't actually Hitler at all. Elon Musk is the real Hitler. Just look at the Nazi salute that he gave during the inauguration. Trump is just his bootlicking sycophant. Am I missing any? These are just narratives in the first 6 months. Now they think they've got something to stick. And it's the Trump is a pedophile. Okay, you know what? Here's J.D. Vance today in Ohio, asked about if the Trump administration is covering up for pedophiles.
I got to make an observation that there's an interesting thing about this case that the American media seems to totally ignore. For 4 years under Joe Biden's Department of Justice, the media didn't give a damn about the Epstein files or about the Epstein case. For literally 20 years, the story about this scumbag, and he is a scumbag pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein, he's dead now, but for 20 years, you had Obama and George W. Bush's Department of Justice go easy on this guy. They didn't fully investigate the case. They didn't show any curiosity about the case. And now Donald J. Trump is asking his Department of Justice to show full transparency. And somehow that's a criticism of Donald J. Trump and not Barack Obama and George W. Bush. If you want to criticize the people who aren't showing full transparency, you ought to go after the administrations that went easy on Jeffrey Epstein, the administrations that concealed this case for 20 years, and the administrations that failed to show full transparency.
He makes a great point. Where were all these questions for the past 4 years? Why is nobody wondering, hey, sure seems like the Bush DOJ went real light on Epstein when it gave him that sweetheart plea deal back in 2005. Actually, I guess the plea deal came in 2008 following the arrest in 2005, known throughout the government as the deal of the century. Why is it that nobody is saying anything about the only named victim who has ever named anybody she was allegedly forced to have sex with, Virginia Giuffre? She has only named Democrats. She's named George Mitchell, Democrat senator. She named Bill Richardson, Democrat senator or congressman. He's also the governor of New Mexico. He was at one point under Obama. He was secretary of something or other. And she named a bunch of hedge fund guys, as well as Alan Dershowitz and Prince Andrew. She was only able to provide any sort of corroborating evidence in the form of a photo with Prince Andrew. And Andrew basically admitted to everything by issuing a tearful apology. He was deroyaled. What was he? He was secretary of what? Commerce secretary under Obama, right? Yeah, under Barack Obama. He was secretary of commerce. Thank you very much, producer Eric. Yet we're supposed to believe that this is the single greatest scandal in history. Now, Trump himself has been saying pretty much the exact same thing. Look, forever, these files were in the hands of the worst people in America. James Comey, Joe Biden, John Brennan, James Clapper. And you're telling me that they're just going to sit on this stuff and they're not going to use it to destroy me either before I ran in 2016 or 2020 or 2024. He ran for president 3 times, and we didn't hear a single thing about Jeffrey Epstein any of those times.
The Epstein files, or your name has not appeared in the Epstein files. But doesn't the AG have to tell you if your name?
Well, I haven't been overly interested in it. You know, it's a hoax that's been built up way beyond proportion. I can say this: those files were run by the worst scum on earth. They were run by Comey. They were run by Garland. They were run by Biden and all of the people that actually ran the government, including the auto pen. Those files were run for 4 years by those people. If they had anything, I assume they would have released it. The whole thing is a hoax.
When do you suppose Democrats will start to realize that pretty much everything that is being fed to them by the media that their side totally controls is pretty much a lie? A lot of people have been documenting the slow motion conversion of traditional liberal Bill Maher. And I don't believe that Bill Maher is ever going to turn to the dark side of conservatism. He's a good lib, but he understands, I think, with an honesty that is sort of refreshing on the other side, that a lot of what people have been telling us is a lie. That the so-called experts that have been paraded out there since the days of COVID, even before, to debunk pretty much anything that any Republicans said, were wrong. We're full of it. Either didn't know what was going to happen, or were just flat out dishonest about it. Maher, on his podcast, just came out and said, look, I got to own this. I predicted that Trump's tariffs were going to just bankrupt this country by July. Here we are. It's almost the end of July. This country is doing better than ever. I was wrong. The experts that I was listening to in mainstream media were wrong.
I remember along with probably most people, was saying at the beginning, oh, you know, by the 4th of July, somebody had to think how the country was, the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me, but that didn't happen. Now, it could happen tomorrow. I'm just saying that's reality. So let's work first from the reality of that, not from I just hate Donald Trump. Because that's boring and doesn't get us anywhere and leads you to dishonesty. Because the truth is, I don't know what his strategy is. But look, the stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market, but I also drive around. I don't see a country in a depression at all. I see people out there just living their lives. And I would have thought, and I got to own it, that these tariffs were going to sink this economy by this time. And they didn't.
No, quite the opposite. How many leftists are going to bleeping own it, as Maher sort of put it, that they were wrong about tariffs, that they were, and this is the thing that just is hysterical to me. Do you know what political party embraced tariffs to protect the American worker for decades? Democrats. Trump is more of a traditional peacenik, America first Democrat trying to use protectionist trade policy to bring back manufacturing that might or might not come back. Now, anybody who has actually listened to as many Trump speeches as I have and actually does so with an open mind and not preconceived biases about what we think about the man can tell you exactly what Trump is doing. He doesn't want to bring back manufacturing featuring American workers per se. He wants America to be the dominant force in artificial intelligence and robotics. Everything he is doing is aligned to that point. He understands, his people understand that you're not going to make pens for example, in the United States, or something that just is cost prohibitive because of unionized American workers demanding $75 an hour plus full pensions to make pens that glorified slave labor in China will do for 25 cents a day. The idea is that you employ Americans to run the largely automated AI-based factories that are producing the pens with minimal human involvement. The idea being, well, why are we sending all of our money over to China when we can make this stuff using AI and robotics? And, oh, by the way, why don't we invest a ton of money and a ton of infrastructure and a ton of brain power into ensuring that all artificial intelligence, all robotics comes from the United States? It's a staggeringly forward-looking plan. He just outlined his plan for artificial intelligence. And it says exactly that. Just nobody's paying attention. We're bringing jobs back to the United States, just not the same jobs that you might think. We're still going to get stuff from Vietnam. We're still going to get stuff from China. But the idea here is that the stuff of the future is all going to be made in the USA. The services of the future, the jobs of the future are all going to be American. What Trump is talking about is not short-term financial gain from a 15% tariff on Europe. What he's talking about is free trade and the export of the things that people want now and are going to want for the next century coming from the United States, where we can compete in the global market on an even playing field, because Trump knows that things that come from America, whether it's cars, whether it's tech, whatever, those are the things that global markets want. They just can't get them because of tariff barriers and non-tariff barriers that make it impossible for those American products to enter foreign marketplaces. Well, in every single deal he's cut, what's the common denominator? Lowering, if not outright eliminating, all tariff barriers and reducing dramatically the non-tariff barriers to American goods entering, say, the Japanese or European marketplaces. And of course, the left, oh, how dare he strike such a good deal for the United States. Today should be a day, yesterday should have been a day of celebration because of what a great trade deal we've got. If we had an honest press, I am dead serious, Trump's approval right now on trade and on financial policy alone would be at about 75%. Objectively, he has had, name me a president who has had a more impactful 6 months. But what did Biden do? Passed $1 trillion stimulus. We had 9% inflation within a year. We had 40-year highs of inflation at this point exactly 4 years ago because of his disastrous $1 trillion stimulus and policies that, as the supply chain was kind of waking up after COVID, was keeping the American worker back home and keeping supply chains globally shut down. He was a disaster in his first 6 months. Barack Obama, coming off of the Great Recession, his big thing was, remember the shovel-ready jobs in the $1 trillion stimulus that weren't anywhere near shovel-ready, and all the stimulus was simply payback for all of the various lefty and union groups that supported his candidacy for the presidency. That's all he did. And then he immediately pivoted to Obamacare, which was so disastrous that even Democrats are still 15 years later talking about how terribly broken the American healthcare system is. Let's see. What has Trump done? Just forget about the first 6 months. Let's just talk about the last month. Let's just talk about July, for goodness sake. We'll go back to late June. Let's see. Trade deals with Vietnam, with Japan, with the European Union. We have got peace agreements between India and Pakistan when there were serious concerns that that would blow up into all-out war. We have got pressure put on Russia, a new arms deal with the European Union to help Ukraine and the United States, where we are not just giving money hand over fist, but rather selling armaments. Oh, yeah, destroying Iran's nuclear facility. That was another thing I forgot when in the last 6 months, what leftists are going to, what they were trying to tar and feather him with. Remember when he was going to start World War III, and World War III lasted a grand total of about 48 hours because Iran didn't dare to strike back with anything more than a symbolic strike that they warned Trump about in a desperate attempt to save face with the Iranian people? The one big beautiful bill signed into law. We had another record low in the number of illegals crossing the border. Name something in the last month. It's why they're glomming onto this Epstein stuff, because on actual policy, on actual stuff that matters, they know just as well as you and I do that the Trump administration is about as effective as any has been in history. Water Street, another scene of bloodshed and chaos. We discuss next.
From the Lynch GM Superstore in Burlington Total Traffic Center.
Out in Jefferson County, 94 eastbound past Highway 26, you got a crash that blocks the left lane, causing some heavy delays in the area. 4145 southbound takes 20 from Good Hope to the Zoo, northbound 15. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by First Choice Heating and Cooling. Prices are up, but your comfort doesn't have to wait. At First Choice Heating and Cooling, pay $0 now and 0 interest for 12 months. Lock in today's price and stay cool all summer. Milwaukee's heat's no joke. Call First Choice now.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is back in Vegas.
T-Mobile Arena.
Streaming live only on Hulu. A weekend full of superstar performances. Listen starting next Monday to win your way there.
Lenovo and the iHeartRadio Music Festival. Tech that hits different. Can your gear keep up with the beat? Lenovo PCs are built for creators, dreamers, and fans who don't hit pause. Visit Lenovo.com for the latest in AI PCs and game-changing tech.
Dan O'Donnell here for my good friends at Mander Collision and Glass, the only place I've trusted my vehicles with for years now. Their customer service is impeccable and their workmanship is so good, they guarantee it for life. But don't just take my word for it. Here's a 5-star review from Alana. Mander was amazing. From Noel at the front desk to Nikki, who helped coordinate my insurance and repairs, I could not have had a better experience. My 2021 Subaru Forester looks brand new. I honestly don't think I've had this great of a customer service experience in my life. I'll refer anyone and everyone to Mander if they ever find themselves in a bind. Thank you so much. No, thank you, Alana, for helping me spread the word about just how great Mander is. Wherever you are in the greater Milwaukee and Waukesha area, there's a service center near you. So start your repair now at mandercollision.com.
Family dentistry, cosmetic whitening, Ross Dental straight smiles, and full sedation dentistry for anxious patients needing substantial restoration. Our mission? Your comfort, health, and confidence.
Smile like you just don't care.
Because you don't. RossDentalWI.com.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your #1 preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all. iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
WISN. Big taxers, big spenders, political cronies, global warming alarmists, charlatans, liars, scam artists, and feeders at the public trough. The threats to your happiness are many, but that's where we can help. News Talk 1130 WISN. Our truth shall keep you free. Classical conservatism. Contemporary style. This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Welcome back to it. 2 shootings in 2 days on Water Street. 21-year-old shot just before 1:30 a.m. Saturday morning. That would be Friday night near Water and Knapp. Then just steps away from the exact same intersection. This from Channel 12 in Milwaukee. Someone shot a 31-year-old on Sunday at 2:30 a.m. Both victims are expected to survive. No one is in custody in connection with either shooting. Just 2 weeks ago, and less than half a mile from that scene, gunfire hit 5 people, killing 2 of them at Water and Michigan. Kevin Lewis, 39, and Antoine Tweezy Hogans, 52, were both killed. This has led to a whole lot of hand-wringing amongst the leadership class in Milwaukee as to what to do. And weirdly enough, one of the best suggestions that I saw was from a viewer of today's TMJ4 who was interviewed, I think, on one of those random man-on-the-street things where they just kind of ask, hey, what do you think we should do? This guy says, hey, you know what we should do? We should take inspiration from other cities where they will actually have checkpoints outside of the bar district on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. They'll actually have barricades all around the thing and metal detectors to go in. You only get in if you're 21 years old and you submit to the metal detector. Now, I would like to think that that isn't necessary, that if we just arrest and convict the guys and gals who are engaged in this extreme violent behavior, that they'd be in jail and not on Water Street. Sort of feel like a broken record saying the exact thing year after year after year and nothing being done to move in that direction at all. Just for what's and giggles. Wouldn't it be something if, now Madison, I'll give credit. They don't have nearly the problem with crime that Milwaukee does. Not the same size city, not the same sort of demographics, not the same sort of poverty that you see in Milwaukee. But let's just say Madison, Milwaukee, Green Bay, Racine, the only places, statistically speaking, where there are violent crimes committed in Wisconsin, Kenosha too. What if we just did what I suggest? What if we just got tough on crime? A whole bunch of cities did it in the 1990s, early 2000s. You know what happened? Crime decreased dramatically, almost overnight. It was out of control. 70s, 80s, early part of the 1990s, the crack cocaine epidemic led to intense, bloody street gang battles that just got so out of control that a Democrat president and a Democrat senator by the name of Joe Biden, who authored the infamous crime bill, got together and said, hey, we need to do something about this. California, of all places, enacted the 3 strikes and you're out law. New York City, most famous of all, the New York Miracle, Rudy Giuliani, enacting a broken windows theory of policing in which every crime was treated seriously. New York went from a no-go zone for pretty much everyone else in the country into one of the safest big cities that you could go to. I've been to New York a bunch of times over the past decade and a half, 2 decades. Never once felt like I was in danger anywhere I was in Manhattan. Admittedly, I'm not in the Bronx and Brooklyn. There are bad areas of New York still, but the touristy areas, mainly Manhattan, nothing dangerous about them. The main area where people go in Milwaukee on the weekends, it's Water Street still. Yeah, you've got Brady Street. You got the 3rd Ward. You got party areas. Brady Street, by the way, is a lot of fun to go to. I myself have sort of aged out of the downtown bar-going era, but it has always been a very cool. The lakefront is bigger. But what has invariably happened whenever you get a lot of young people or just a big crowd together. Unfortunately, you have got people who come in, they are extremely violent, they are armed to the teeth, and you have stuff like this happen. So far, the only thing that society has come up with to stop this sort of thing is to treat it as the serious public health danger that it is, and to remove from society those people who are committing escalating series of crimes. I reported exclusively on a 16-year-old who is out on signature bond after stealing a car and leading police on a chase, trying to get away. Just 5 months ago, back in February? He's involved in some sort of triple shooting. He himself is shot. He's under arrest on suspicion of homicide because he's out on signature bond. We didn't take fleeing from an officer seriously. We didn't take car theft seriously. So unseriously, in fact, it wasn't even charged. Well, there are a couple of families whose daughters, just out of college, were the victims of what they consider to be a crime on Water Street last week. And they are telling anybody who will listen that the Milwaukee Police Department is not taking their concerns seriously. You're not going to want to miss this story, as it is an open question as to whether or not a crime was committed. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Stopping and going in pockets, southbound 43 Silver Spring to the Marquette. From Brown Deer, taking you 20. Add another 10 on 4394 southbound with a crash after Beecher on the right shoulder. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Stay connected when it matters most. Be prepared with Rapid Radio's walkie-talkies. With instant push-to-talk and LTE nationwide coverage, you can reach family and friends in any emergency. 100% private, no contracts, no hassle.
Stay safe. Order now at rapidradios.com.
The only agent I trust here in Milwaukee is Justin Hoffman with RE/MAX Lakeside. Now, thanks for joining me today. So what's the biggest challenge that sellers face when they're getting a divorce?
Well, Sean, unfortunately, divorce is tough and we deal with it a lot in our business. We have to make sure that these people feel like they're being treated fairly. They want to both feel like they're part of the deal. They don't want one side getting more insight than the other. And we have solutions for these types of issues.
How do you help them with that?
We can help them with that with a quick, clean cash instant offer. Or we make sure we set all the precedent up front so they know we're going to be dealing with them directly, equally, all the way through the transaction.
All right. Thanks for keeping us up to date. If I needed to sell a home in Milwaukee, I'd call Justin Hoffman. Just go to wihomeeval.com. That's wihomeeval.com. Or just Google Team Hoffman and check out over 700 five-star reviews.
Grandma?
In kitchen.
Did you put these flyers in Lithuanian all over the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Okay. I know Kavelius is fool. What's the rest say?
Use translation app.
Oh, boy. Okay. Don't be a fool. Take excellent financial lesson with Grandma.
One lesson, $25.
You need money for something you need money for? Get a First American Bank home equity line of credit.
It's smart.
Don't get a credit card loan.
It's stupid.
Because First American Bank
has best loan deals in town. Okay, now read Big Finish.
If you get a credit card loan and not a First American Bank home equity line of credit, you could pay 2.5 times more in interest. Isn't this a bad word?
Very.
Grandma, everything you've said about First American Bank is correct, but charging people $25, I don't know. Come on.
You are right. Should be $100. Help me fix flyers.
First American Bank, the bank that does more for your money. Visit firstmbank.com.
or call us at 262-577-2400. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I'm Victor Harding, a true trial attorney at Warshevsky Law. You've heard our advertising for years. While it's been effective introducing Warshevsky to injured people in need of maximum judgments and settlements, most of our clients come from personal referral. Referrals from former clients grateful for the settlement or trial judgment Warshevsky won on their behalf. Thus, they're recommending us to friends and family. Referrals from people in the community, including other lawyers and judges who want to make sure their friends and family are taken care of. Still not sure? Ask around. Warshevsky is referred by Wisconsin law enforcement officers who've seen Warshevsky attorneys in action, desperate to make sure friends and family receive just compensation. Insurance adjusters, often our adversaries, refer their family members hurt in accidents. They know the work we do. They all refer Warshevsky because big case or small, we can help. If someone you love is injured, please let them know, because at the end of their ordeal, their injury is about the money. Warshevsky.com.
When it's 94 degrees inside and you've melted to the couch,
and a dog has claimed the fridge,
and the ice cubes have melted themselves out of misery,
and you've started naming your sweat beads,
then it's officially time to call Capital. We offer same-day air conditioning service 7 days a week.
And for a limited time, all our AC service calls are free when we make the repair.
Just call Capital. We'll bring back the brrr.
Old-fashioned service, you can't go wrong. Call CapitalCares.com.
Hi, it's Jay. Let's talk about the roof on your home. A lot of you will need to replace your roof this summer, but be forewarned, there are roofing companies out there that skip over the most important part of the process, the attic ventilation. If your attic doesn't have proper air circulation, it can cause problems like mold and wood rot, leaks in the winter, not to mention higher AC bills in the summer. This is one of the reasons I recommend Semperfi Roofing to my listeners. Their process begins with a free 21-point roof inspection that includes a thorough inspection of your attic. They know that if the ventilation isn't right, the roof will be built on a shaky foundation. Every Semperfi roof comes with a well-thought-out attic ventilation plan, and that's why they can offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. Money-saving discounts and financing incentives are available. Call for your free 21-point roof inspection and estimate today, 262-600-2910, or book an appointment online at semperfiroofing.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi. Injured? Call Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Check out Behind the Flow, a podcast documentary series following the launch of San Diego Football Club.
San Diego coming to MLS is going to be a game changer because this region has been hungry for a men's professional soccer team.
We need to embrace this community.
Listen to San Diego FC Behind the Flow on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Behind the Flow and start listening.
The iHeart Radio app now has preset buttons, just like your car radio. Now make sure one of those preset buttons is set to News Talk 1130 WISN. Excellence is just one click away on the preset buttons of the iHeart Radio app.
This, of course, the Dropkick Murphys in our St. Patrick's Day bumper music rotation here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. So why are we playing it at the end of July? Because, dear listener, we have got tickets to Irish Fest to give away right now to caller number 17. St. Patrick's Day is every year on March 17th. So caller number 17 is going to get our tickets to go see Irish Fest. I try to make it there every single year, primarily because I am, as you could imagine, by my last name, which a lot of people still ask me, is that really your last name, O'Donnell? Yes, it is. I don't know why anybody would want the nightmare that is an apostrophe in your name in an entirely computerized world. If you don't have an apostrophe, you can't imagine the struggle of computer systems, either recognizing an apostrophe, not recognizing an apostrophe, sometimes just placing a random space where the apostrophe is. You're never quite sure how your name is going to be spelled. So we have got a 4-pack of tickets to Irish Fest, which is going to be, I'm not actually sure, because I have got all the information about Irish Fest except when it actually is in Milwaukee. It's some weekend in August 14th through the 17th of this year. Caller number 17 at 414-799-1130 or 1-800-838-9476 will win a 4-pack of tickets to Irish Fest coming up in about 3 weeks along Milwaukee's lakefront. You might even see me sipping Guinness and walking around the festival listening to some bagpipe music. Best of luck to you. Water Street has been the scene of just incredible violence over the past couple of weeks. But there is one case that a couple of families are furious about because their daughters, who were out celebrating a college graduation party on Water Street on July 20th, Sam Zangjar, I truly apologize. I know I'm butchering that name, and Chloe Handrick of New Berlin, they were celebrating when a driver broke through wooden police barricades and struck them at about 2:05 a.m., leaving them both with serious injuries. Sam has recovered enough to return home, but Chloe remains in the hospital as doctors tend to her serious injuries. Now, I was contacted by the mother of one of the other girls who was with these two. It was indeed a college graduation party, and a number of the girls, 6 of them, decided that they were going to go down to Water Street, keep the party going. They went bar hopping for an hour or so, and then decided they were going to cap the night off by getting something to eat. The woman says, my daughter just graduated from UW La Crosse. Her 4-year roommate had a graduation party on Saturday night at her parents' home with family and friends. Around 10 o'clock, they went down to Water Street to continue the celebration. There were 6 of them that went down to Water Street, my daughter being one. They decided they were going to get something to eat around 1:30. What started as a beautiful celebration of accomplishment and happiness turned into a violent tragedy. A driver recklessly crashed through barricades that were meant to protect pedestrians on Water Street and struck my daughter's friend and another girl so violently that they both ended up in the ICU. Chloe sustained life-altering injuries. She sustained a severe pelvic fracture on both sides, along with her sacrum and into her hip joints, a fractured tibia, a grade 4 liver laceration, a partially collapsed lung, a large facial hematoma, a concussion, and many road rashes and bruises. The police found the driver of this car and let them off with a citation. The police refused to be interviewed and said, some things don't rise to the level of crimes. These are lovely 22-year-old kids. It was so disgusting of the Milwaukee Police Department and dismissive of the tragedy that happened. Please help this, bring this to the public's attention. What the Milwaukee police are saying is you can smash down barricades, severely injured people, drive away, and you only get a citation. Chloe is still in the ICU. And I read the extent of her injuries just to sort of hammer home how serious this was, how fast this driver was going. Because the police department is saying that this was just some sort of horrible accident. In an email to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, a spokesperson says, it is tragic that 2 individuals were injured in a crash on July 20th on Water Street. MPD is continuing to review this incident. However, at this time, it appears this was an unfortunate accident that did not rise to the level of a crime. The driver, according to Heather Hoff, the police chief, Jeffrey Norman's chief of staff, she said she couldn't speak on the record about the case due to it being investigated. However, she said the driver wasn't speeding, didn't flee the scene, and had a clean driving record. All right, well, was he driving recklessly? I mean, was he on his cell phone at the time? I get that this case is under investigation, but at 2 a.m., a driver plowing through a barricade where there are undoubtedly a lot of pedestrians congregated has a whole lot of questions in my mind, the biggest being, how the hell do you know he wasn't impaired by drugs if you didn't take any samples, if you didn't arrest him and take him down to the police station? Okay, he didn't appear to be under the influence of alcohol. He passed the field sobriety test. Was he under the influence of marijuana? Was he under the influence of something? Okay, he's got a clean driving record. That's great. Was he on his cell phone? Was he not paying attention? Do we have cell phone records that show the phone was being used at the exact same moment he plowed through this barricade? Also, he wasn't speeding, but he was still driving at such a speed that he was able to inflict just incredible damage to this poor girl, Chloe. Both of the girls I shouldn't say girls, young women have GoFundMes, and there's a link in the Journal Sentinel story. I would highly encourage you, if you feel so inclined, donate. These both seem like, I was sort of perusing both GoFundMes and just some social media. These both seem like just incredible young women who just do not deserve this to have happened to them. I don't know. I did not see a police report, so I don't know if a crime was committed, but for someone to smash into a pedestrian and smash into a barricade at a speed that would cause that amount of damage, it's not like the guy was going, 20 miles an hour. He goes into the barricade, realizes, oh my God, what did I do? He takes, his eyes off the wheel for a split second, and all of a sudden he's going in the wrong way. He's going into a barricade, and he immediately slams on the brakes. He has to be going 30 miles an hour at the point of impact to injure this girl this badly. So what the hell happened? And again, if he is not taken into custody, how do you know he is not under the prescription drugs? How do you know he's not under the influence of Ambien? 2 a.m, he's tired as hell. He wants to get to bed. Shouldn't be driving a car. You don't know because he's not taken into custody. To me, this is sort of a basic thing. You detain him, you take him into custody, and you ascertain, following a urine or hair sample test, whether this guy was under the influence of something. To just immediately say, no, you look like he was fine. Oh, really? Really? Because there's a whole lot of ways to get messed up and be impaired behind the wheel without consuming alcohol. And you may look fine. You may even be able to pass a field sobriety test, but your reaction time is still slow. And the big X factor here is, was he on his phone? Because that's the thing. If it wasn't some sort of impairment at 2 a.m. on a weekend night, he's looking down at the phone, he's getting a text, he's, messing with the music, something like that. Was he distracted? How do you immediately rule that out? Now, look, I'm going to be the last guy to impugn the motives of Milwaukee police officers, especially those patrolling Water Street, which is just turning into the Wild West again, just like it did a few years ago with the gunfight at the Water Street Corral where 18 people were shot. But I just have some serious questions about how quickly the idea that the driver committed some sort of crime when he smashed into a group of people and severely injured 2 young women, how we immediately just dismiss the possibility that a crime was committed here. I mean, how is it that your local radio host is able to raise all of these investigative questions in like a 5-minute segment on his show, but these questions don't appear to have been asked by investigators on the scene. So I too would like some more answers as to why immediately criminal conduct was dismissed.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Up in Washington County, southbound lanes of Highway 83 shut down at Arthur Road with an accident. Southbound on 4145 got heavy delays starting at Good Hope, clearing up after Capitol. Northbound delays between Burleigh and Hampton. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by First Choice Heating and Cooling.
This heat is unbearable.
Keep your family comfortable with First Choice Heating. For a limited time, get $89 off your AC and heating tune-up. Milwaukee's trusted HVAC company, firstchoiceheating.com.
Don't think twice. Call Guys. Garage door broke. Do it right. Don't think twice. Call Guys. Need a new garage door. Do it right. Don't think twice. Call Guys.
Our Geist team understands that when it comes to your business commercial garage doors, toughness and durability are the names of the game. We partner with CHI Overhead Doors for high-speed application installs. They're resettable and they go up and down super fast and constructed only using the finest raw materials and customized with computer-aided precision, ensuring each commercial door we sell or install is delivered on time and with care. Call us to get a quote and schedule your new CHI Overhead Doors commercial installation. Call 262-784-4250 or online at geiststores.com.
Don't think twice. Call Guys. Don't think twice. Call Guys.
For CHI Overhead Doors.
The Census Bureau says more than 12,000 Americans turn 65 each day. It's a surge they call Peak 65, the highest number in history. Some Annex clients retire early. Some keep working because they love it. You know why? Because they've got custom plans built by fee-only fiduciaries. They identified their wants and needs, and we went to work. We want to do the same for you. Annex does financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Jay Weber here. If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Find them at orthowisconsin.com. At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality of joint care and specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Milwaukee. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Divergent Family Law offers free consultations for divorce and flat rate quotes so you can make informed decisions about your next steps. Our experienced attorneys are committed to helping you understand your rights and options. Your fair share or better, divergentfamilylaw.com.
When starting a new home project, the first step is the hardest to take. Hi, Colleen here with Tri-County Contracting. And with Tri-County Contracting, the first step is super easy. Go to tricountycontractingwi.com. You can fill out a short form requesting a free estimate. Amanda will give you a call and schedule a no-pressure appointment with you. Whether it's roofing, siding, windows, or all of the above, we have you covered. If you are looking for an even faster roof price, we also have our instant roof quote button. Name, address, and email address, and you have your price on the spot. Easy first step. Then, all the steps after that, we'll take care of those for you. Getting you an easy-to-read, clear proposal quickly comes next. Then we can help you pick colors using our showroom or project map on our website. We pull the permits, we take care of materials and disposal. Our trained and specialized crews and project managers take care of all the install and cleanup. For you, it's as easy as one step, and that step is easy. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting.
For NARI award-winning home renovating.
We all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, challenged us, made learning fun. Now's your chance to say thank you in a big way. iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose, celebrating the incredible impact of public school educators. Nominate an outstanding teacher in your life who's gone above and beyond for their students to be among the winners of $5,000 to stock their classroom. Help us say thank you to the educators shaping our future. Get all the info and nominate a teacher who goes the extra mile today at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
There's only one store that gives you every possible choice in diamonds.
Welcome to Kessler's.
40 years ago, being informed was about reading the newspaper and watching the nightly news. Now, with information coming at you at the speed of light, being truly informed is a complex proposition, a more comprehensive process. At WISN, our show hosts frame stories, issues, and topics with both facts and unique analysis, and that leaves you with a richer understanding of the world around you. It's the perfect blend of information and insight. Stay informed all day, every day on WISN.
Our live stream. The Dano Cam is fine. Our internet, sadly, is not. So the last 2 minutes probably not going to be live streamed. I'm still chuckling 2 hours later over our unhinged liberals of the day being so upset that an apparel company like American Eagle, which happens to be called American Eagle, is using a pretty young actress by the name of Sydney Sweeney. And she's saying, I have good genes, while advertising the jeans that she's clearly wearing. They're saying this is Nazi propaganda because Sydney Sweeney is blonde-haired and blue-eyed. Someone posted on X, if Sydney Sweeney was not a right-winger before this, she sure as hell is now. Have a great evening, Wisconsin. Talk to you tomorrow.